Good morning. Happy Good Friday. And it's a brilliant day outside because it's not brilliant weather, so you can stay in and watch TV. This is really good. So happy bank holiday. Oh, we've got so much planned for today and it's going to be really good. We've got a very busy day. We've got some great guests, people that you know and you've seen before, and so you'll enjoy meeting with them again, and I'll enjoy. Now, we do have a little problem which we have to let you know about. Little bug in the system, of course it would be on Good Friday. The little bug in the system is that the graphics that you normally see on the edge of the screen to help you decide the code numbers you need to buy aren't on the TV screen. They are on the website page. You can still pre-order absolutely fine, but you won't see them until we can get the bug fix flash up on the TV screen. So what is going to happen is I will actually read out the code that Kat's going to tell me in my ear when we get to the various bits. So I'll be reading out the code and the prices. But I say, don't worry, if you can go onto your laptop or whatever, you can find it. On the app, on the website, you can still buy as normal and the codes are there. You can buy as normal on the TV, but you'll have to listen to me read the codes out. So, if you have a look at the website right now, let's give you a little look at the website. You will see it's all as normal. So we've got the early bird there, which is this lovely box of thread, which I'll be showing you in just a minute. And you can add it to your basket as usual. It's all the same, the post and packing, $3.95 for the entire day. And then everything that we're going to have on the show is on pre-order, as usual. So, let's start with the early bird today. So the early bird today is, I have a problem with saying this, Orofill. It's a really good brand of thread. And this is a Tula Pink collection. And you get 10 spools with 50 weight cotton. And I'm just going to, and they really are spectacular colours, so I'm just going to open up the box and tip them out so you can actually see these as well. Well, look at these. Look. So today you're actually saving £6 on this. They're $27.99 for all 10 reels. They are beautiful, and they're variegated colours. They're so beautiful. This is really brilliant for when you're doing top stitching and quilting and you want to add some stitch definition on the surface. And these will go beautifully with the next thing I'll be showing you in just a minute. So these are really lovely threads, really lovely colours. You get on each one 220 yards, which is 200 metres. So it's a lot of thread actually. Now, can we work out what that is per reel? I'm not going to try, not on a Friday. So £27.99 is the price, which is saving your £6. So it works out at £2.79 a spool of 200 metres, or £1.39 100 metres. A lot of the spools this sort of size only have 100 metres on, so it's got twice that much on. And don't forget, it is 50 weight Orofill thread, which is kind of universal. It's great for top stitching. You can do lovely flat seams with it. It's a really pretty thread. And if you use decorative stitches like shell stitches and anything with concentrated stitching, because it's variegated, what you end up getting is this really lovely multicoloured look. So it's really gorgeous. And you can use, you could use colours that blend with the fabric but then pop out. You could use contrast. Lovely threads to have, definitely lovely to have. Don't forget, now do I need to read the code out? So let's read this code. It's W, D for Donald, A, 113. So it's WDA 113. It's £27.99. You're saving £6. Which is actually more than the P&P. And of course, we've got so much really lovely things on the show today. Don't forget the P&P is the same throughout the day. So you can order this now, make sure you snap this bargain up and then come back a bit later and order something else. And I've got these amazing fabrics in front of me. So the best way to shop today, just to make it easier for you, is on the app and on the web. So if you are watching on TV and you happen to be lucky enough to have a tablet or your phone that you could use at the same time, you'll be able to see the codes yourself. I will keep reading them out. I will keep being told them in my ear to make sure we do. So look at this lovely thread. I'm just being told we very, very rarely discount the Aurifil threads, particularly when they are by a designer such as Tula Pink. So this is quite a nice bargain. Look at all these variegated colours. She is a real fan of EPP, English paper piecing. Personally, I'm a real fan of top stitching, decorative stitches, and adding that dimension of stitch onto a project. And because of these variegated threads, this is a perfect solution. It really is. I just love these. I'm going to say I love the pinks. Look at the pinks there, the green that pops, the yellow, and this lovely blue, the blues and purples in there, and the other greens. I'm just sort of reordering them just so you can see. They are just gorgeous threads. Really good selection of colours there. And yesterday we had a really good thread holder. Pop them on the thread holder. So this is a really lovely set. You get all of these, 200 metres of each colour on the spool, 50 weight, so it's a good weight to use for top stitching. You can use it for seams, but obviously seams disappear. So I'm saying top stitching, quilting, that sort of thing, things that you can see that stitching. This is what this is really for. And yes, let me bring this box back in so you can see. So it all comes in this really nice little box, and there's Tula Pink. It's a nice gift. It is a beautiful gift. This is, I know Easter's happening right now, but this is a great gift, better than chocolate. Dare I say better than chocolate? Well, you won't get fat on it, will you? So this is really lovely, really, and it says on the box, spectacular colours, of course, and D is a very good brand of thread. It's one that a lot of quilters will know because they will use it a lot. So really, really lovely. So just to reiterate that code again, WDA113, and you are saving £6 on the regular price, so 30, £27.99. So it's a really good price for 10 spools of thread. Oh yes, today I'm joining the world of Facebook. Now so it's going to be quite a mixture for me here. I've got to be reading codes, looking at Facebook. So I've got some messages already. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Donna. Oh, and Joan and another Jenny. Really, Glenys. Oh, Sheila, Fiona. These are great. Yeah, so please do feel free to send in any questions, and Kat will help me sort of manage this. Send them on to Facebook Live, and if they're questions, I will answer them. If they're questions for our guests that we've got 3 guests today, so that's amazing. We can ask them as well, and we can I just feel we're more of a family then, aren't we? We can have a little chit chat. So that's nice. Not me just talking to a camera. Right, now I've got to talk of this. Oh yeah, all right, we've got to look at the website first. I want to get onto the fabrics. So let's look at the website. We have on the website, everything is on pre-order. So that means that you can, of course, you go to watch live on the website. So it's a Sewing Street website. You can scroll down, and then once you've clicked watch live, scroll down and you can see the early bird. You can see all of the other fabrics that we've got on as well, and we've got some lovely demos coming up. I'll tell you those in just a minute. Lots of lovely fabrics that we're selling by the half metre. Of course, if you want to buy more, you just multi-buy. All the Tula Pink that's now back in, which is lovely. We've got that as a bundle later. And as you go all the way down, you can see some of these fabrics are really gorgeous colours. So that's where to go. That's the easiest way to order for today particularly. But as I say, don't worry if you don't have that option. I will be reading out the codes. So we're going to do the menu. Let's tell you, because I keep saying we've got these lovely guests, let's tell you what we've got. So first show, this show, Good Friday, Good Fabrics. And we've got some really great fabrics to come. Then at 9 o'clock, we've got Tic Tac Toe, or noughts and crosses to you and I, with Rebecca Harrison. So she is going to show how to make one of the projects that's in Debbie Shaw's book. And it's really cute. It's a great thing to have. Take on picnics with you, and you can play this with the kids. Then we have at 10 o'clock, we have Amber Makes Flower Pots with Rebecca Reid. So she's going to show us how to make these. These are my perfect flowers. Perfect flowers, never going to die, love them. So you can make your own flower pots there. That's at 10. Then at 11 o'clock, we have a Toddler Spring Pattern with Rebecca Harrison. So we're going to actually show some of I don't think we'll be able to make the whole dress in an hour, but what we'll show is some of the tips on making this really cute summery dress for your little one. So it's really lovely, isn't it? And it has a little hat in the pattern too. And then at midday, we have Yarn Lane. We are being joined by Carrie Gardner, no relation. She's got no I in her name. And she's going to come with her she's an absolute expert in knitting and crochet. She's going to come with her expert tips and join us to how we've got 2 specific kits, lots of different colourways, a beautiful yarn. This yarn, you just want to cuddle up to it. Absolutely gorgeous. So do stay with us for that too. Oh, we got graphics back. Okay, so if you want the early bird offer, these threads, let me bring them back in to show you. Thanks for your patience with that. These little technical things do happen. We have lots of good ones. This is really lovely. Oh, love your jacket. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, I had to do some upcycling. So this is my jacket and that's the back. I used an embellish machine, a bit of applique, and the hardest thing was actually taking the old buttons off to put on my self-covered buttons. That was the hardest bit, getting the other ones off. But I fussy cut the buttons so that they're all individual and different. So we have graphics. Yay! I don't have to keep reading everything out. So the early bird is right there. You can see it, and you've got the code. You get this lovely box. Oh, I've lost one of my threads. It rolled away. They come in this lovely box here. 200 metres on each spool, and the normal price is £6 higher. So we're getting it at £27.99. So it's really great, and they're really lovely variegated threads. Beautiful. You can do beautiful stitching with this. As I say, if you use your decorative stitches on your machine, you really get the choice of the colours. So we are now going to take a look at the fabric that's in front of me that I've been stroking on and off in between because it's so gorgeous. Now these are already selling on pre-order. We'll be going from this way. This is the biggest ever mixer bundle that we have ever done. We said Good Friday, good fabric. We meant it. These are absolutely gorgeous. There's 10.5 metres. So half a metre is for free. So you're paying for the 10 metres effectively. And you can decide which one you've got for free. But all of these beautiful, beautiful fabrics, and they're all of the sort of rainbow colours here, but they're not just plain solid colours. Let me pick one here. So they're Rose and Hubble quality. So it's really good. It feels so soft. It feels lovely. It's quilting weight, but you can use it for all sorts of projects. It's lovely and soft. Can you see how it's sort of got this almost marbly pattern, or no, it's like watermark almost, isn't it? It's absolutely gorgeous. Gives it sort of a depth of colour. So all of them have got this patterning on. You are getting 21 pieces of half metre pieces, 21 pieces of half metre each. So these are just so useful to have in your, I mean, you can see I'm stroking it. I'm stroking it because it is so beautiful and soft and feels so lovely. Let me get the red. People have got multiple, I mean, I don't blame you, but they do come as half metre pieces. These are all pre-cut, so they are ready. So if you bought multiples, you're not suddenly going to get a metre piece of each. They're all ready to go, pre-cut into half metre pieces. So, I've got to take some of these bits off. We've already got half the stock in people's baskets. So do be aware of that if you are really, because I mean, this is an amazing bundle. It really is, it's fabulous. Really soft, lovely cotton, lovely feel to it. You can see again, this is the red one. You can see it's just got that sort of mottling all over it. Just a bit more interesting than plain, I think. And, you know, as I was saying just now, can you imagine if you use this as part of your quilt, as a bag, as whatever you're going to use it, and then you add some decorative stitching on it using these variegated threads. It would look so beautiful, it really would. And of course, a ½ metre of a fabric can do a lot. It really can. This is yes, you're going to be doing a happy dance when this comes through the door. Let's put that back in there. And obviously you won't use this all in one project, but what it means is when you need some fabric to back your cushion or something to put as patches and sashing and borders and things on bags and on any other project, on your placemats, whatever you're doing, you'll have it. You'll have the perfect colour because you've got them here. Let's look at this one. We've only got 15 left. 15 left, my goodness. Let's look at this. This is another one here. I'm going to look at some of these Facebook messages. So we've got lots of people watching. So thank you, Trudy, Pat, Jackie, Christine, Catherine, and Christine. And good morning. So people saying good morning. Thank you ever so much. It's so nice to think people are actually watching. Ooh. You never know. You never know, you see. I could just be talking to myself. That's really lovely. What is this? Having a discussion about you should have fish on Friday, or is that? Oh, well, do you know, you're right. When I was brought up, you're absolutely right. You always had fish on Friday, don't you? I'm not sure if that's a religious thing or whether that was a day off for mums to, not have to cook, so you got fish and chips. I don't know, actually. Will I be having fish and chips for Friday? No, I won't, because the reason I won't is because I had a takeaway meal last night and I only ever eat half of it, so I will have the other half tonight. Fish is one of those funny things for me. I do like it, but I don't often choose it to cook at home. I like salmon, I like tuna, and I like a trout, but I have to take the head off. I can't be eating with his little head looking at me. But it's one of those things that I don't often choose to cook, but when I eat it, absolutely love it. But yeah, so anyway, just digressing there onto fish. I know, got to stop there, because I'm still stroking this fabric though, because it's so lovely. Did you see this one I just opened? Absolutely gorgeous. So yes, if you've got just sort of the graduated colours here all the way through. So there really is something for absolutely everything, right from sort of cream at the front there. I mean, obviously we've put, I say we, mostly Kat put these. We did it together yesterday. We put these all in orders to try and to decide what they're like. So less than 10 available, I can't believe. It is really hard, and it's hard to restock because of the amount of fabrics we have here to get all of these lovely colours. Look at this gold. This is so beautiful. Oh, yes, I know. I think you're right, Fiona. There is greenish, but there's not green. This is a lovely gold. Oh, you call it tangerine? We always have this discussion on what we call fabrics. Yes, it is tangerine. I will concede that. Less than 5 available. But the greens, you're right. The green we've got is really this one, which is more jade green. It hasn't got a range of the greens in the way it's got a range of the others. We'll have to put that to the buyers next time, and they can maybe look for some greens. Because obviously, oh, I've just lost a label, must put that back on. Oh, it is absolutely gorgeous, totally agree. This is the jade. It's really beautiful. Oh, we've got one left. So who's going to be the lucky person? So if you've got it in your basket, please do check out, because otherwise you might lose it. It might disappear from your basket. But we have got another exciting bundle, and we've got a competition for you. So let's go to the slide. We've got to go to the slide about the competition. And I'm going to open that bundle in a bit, so you're going to see what you get. So all you have to do for this competition, it's very, very, very simple. You have to spot the golden egg on the set. It's going to stay in the same position all day. You spot it, you make a note. You watch tomorrow, and it'll have moved. You spot it, you make a note. And you do that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. And only on Monday do you message with where it was on the 4 days And then you have a chance of winning this absolutely mega, it's on the screen there, but I am going to open it so you'll actually see that. Shall I go down there to do that? Just take myself round here. I can take my iPad with me. Ooh, and just drop the cushion off the chair, not that I'm going to sit on it. So am I allowed to cut this open, Kat? Not sure which scissors I should use, so I'm going to use these. Just going to cut, look at this, look at this. If you can spot the egg, just make a note. No, there's no point in entering it today because you can only enter after you've spotted it on all 4 days. Just being careful I'm not cutting the fabric. Maybe I don't have to, oh, do I? Yes, I do have to breathe that off. Well, we tried to count these yesterday, but I have to say it was difficult to count them. And we got to, was it 97 we got to? So there might be 100. But all you have to do is spot the egg. Yeah, don't tell, don't say. Let me just see if I can. This whole lot, this is incredible. This is really heavy. There's all this fabric. And this will be, you don't even have to pay the postage for it. It'll be posted out to you. Look at this. All of this fabric. So obviously I'm not going to go through 100 pieces, but you can see there is every single sort of colour, and it's ½ metre pieces across the width as usual. So it's as you would normally buy it from us, and you're getting all of this. Look at it. And again, they're sort of plains, but they're not. There's some sort of interest in the cut, and look at this purple. It is ridiculously generous. I did say to Kat, I thought the egg should move on every show, make it harder, but she said she'd have to then go through every single one, and we know we're going to get a lot of entries. Sadly, I'm not allowed to, which is a shame. Who did, Elliot? It's usually no one associated with the competition, isn't it? I mean, I can't go through them all, it's ridiculous. There's just so many, but this is what you're going to win. So all you have to do, just to reiterate, today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday, the egg is going to be on the set somewhere, in a different place each time, and you have to spot it, jot it down, and then on Monday, you enter. And you email in. So the email address is studio@sewingstreet.com. We will say that again and again, don't worry about that. But that's where you send it to. This isn't generous, this is insanely generous. It really is. Look at that, it's just, I'm not sure how I can, look at this, look at it, just look, all these colours. We really have got everything. But only one winner. So don't let that put you off buying anything else at the moment. It's only one winner, but it is actually a mega, mega, mega bundle of fabulous fabrics. Now, talking of fabulous fabrics, let me roll that back up again. We are reintroducing a very popular, you saw the thread, and now we have the line work fabric bundle. This is from Tula Pink. So Tula Pink is a designer in America who's very well known, and she has these beautiful fabrics. And this is the whole bundle that you get. So you get all of these pieces. Oh, just to let you know, I'm really sorry, but the mega bundle that I was stroking just now has now sold out. So you have to wait. Congratulations if you got it. I'm bitterly disappointed because I can't order until after the show, so I can't have that now. So yeah, I'm not even. What if I touch? If I lick my fingers and touch that, can I then have it? No. Okay, I won't then. So that's really beautiful. So whoever's got that, well done. You've got a really mega bundle there. So look at this. This is another collection. Now this is really lovely prints and patterns that go together. I mean, who would have ever thought that you could put flowers with stripes and dots? But you can. And mixing these patterns really go nicely together. Some are monochrome, so you've just got the black and white. You've got the black with grey. And then you've got the pops of colour in others. This bundle is £66.99p, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 half metres, so 4.5 metres altogether. 9.5 metre pieces. And it's beautiful fabric. Let me pull one out and have a look. We were really excited to have this in stock because, I mean, look at it. Oh, of course, I had to pick one with a pop of colour, didn't I? Let's put that on the floor. So we'd normally be telling you it's coming, and you know, but we didn't. We kept it because we're limited. So we kept it as this is for today. This is for Good Friday. I've turned it up because it's a really. Oh, I keep doing this. Got to keep these labels on because that's how we know which piece is which. So if you look at this, can you see? I don't know what these cats are called with the big long tail. Lemurs. But it's really subtle. You can almost not see it there. So isn't that lovely? So obviously this is directional. So you've got lemurs and you've got them in the trees, hiding amongst the leaves with these pop of colours. If you want to get the entire bundle, it's £66.99. So it's 9 pieces of 0.5 metres. We are down to less than 10 of this bundle. That's one piece. Let's look at the next one. Oh, so gorgeous. So, okay, I'm going to go for the spot this time. Can we buy these individually or is it just as a bundle? Okay, so we can buy them individually as well. But this is the bundle. I love this. Well, I was wearing a spotty top yesterday, wasn't I? So this is, so the price we've got on the screen at the moment, that is for the spot on its own. So this is the 0.5 metre pieces. If you wanted to buy this by the 0.5 metre, this is the one. So again, it's really lovely. It's got a lovely feel to it, beautiful fabric. And you know I like spots because I was wearing spots yesterday. Don't forget this is part of the bundle as well. This reminds me of geography. Because I remember when I was at school, you know you used to have on the maps, you used to have to show how there was a hill and things. Oh, it's called mineral. Because it's like a geode. See, that's lovely. And it's nice to have sort of an all-over print like this as well that you can use. You can use this on sort of small pieces, small projects. So this is, again, so this one is by the 0.5 metre as well, at £7.49. If you want just the 0.5 metre. If you want the entire bundle, it's £66.99 and you get all 9 0.5 metres. And because, I mean, the good reason for buying a bundle is the fact that the fabrics are beautifully coordinated and that takes that sort of decision making out of it for you. Of course, you don't have to use all 9 together, but you know whichever ones you put together, doesn't matter what they are, they will work together. Really beautiful quality fabric, free spirit fabric. Look at this one. So this one's again bringing that pop of colour. So it's like, oh, you can't buy it on its own. You can only get it in the bundle. You have to buy the bundle for this because it's sold out on its own because people are getting it on pre-order, you see. But this is lovely, isn't it? It's like a spot, but also like it's hexy spot. So it's like a spot, but it's also like a stripe because they're in rows with these graduating colours all the way through. But it is only available in the mega bundle, this one. And now we are going to the next one. Look, see, I like this one too. This is black. Fairy flakes. Fairy flakes, okay. Oh, look. I mean, I hope you can see that. It's sort of grey on black. And it's got birds. And then it's got sort of, some snowflake stars or whatever, little hearts, little dots. It's really sweet. I'm not sure if there's a right way up or not. I'm just going to turn it round to see. I would think, no, I don't think there is because I think they're sort of flying. I don't know. I didn't like to say whether they're swifts or swallows because my bird knowledge is limited. But somebody on Facebook, do let us know. What kind of birds are these here? Look at this. Oh, they're gorgeous. I don't know if there's a right way up. I'm just going to turn it around the other way. This is what you need to do. When you get it home, you need to decide. No, I don't think so. I think they're sort of going. I think I probably would have it the other way. But it's up to you. You decide. So that's a really beautiful one. And it's just the quality of the fabric is gorgeous. Oh, we've already had emails saying where the egg is today. but we're going to ignore them because we don't want to know today. You have to say all 4 days. So on Monday you need to say, Friday it was on my head. No, it's not, I promise you. Saturday it was such and such. Sunday it was there, like that. So all 4 days you need to enter for all 4 days. And we are making it easier for you. I said we should put it in a different place each show. See, I would have made it more complicated. But no, Kat said, no, we're going to keep it. It's very simple. All you have to do is say where it is on the day, so on each of the 4 days. So you have 4 answers. So this is tent stripe. So again, you can buy this by the ½ metre. So it's a really lovely, this is beautiful in itself, but it makes a really lovely border or binding when you have this sort of stripe binding. It makes a fabulous lining. It would look really good. This reminds me of My Fair Lady when they went to a party just in black and white. So this reminds me of that. I really am dating myself. So yes, this is really beautiful, really good quality fabric. Oh yes, you can use it for dressmaking. If you're buying it by the ½ metre, of course what you do is you then buy multiples so that you can get a big piece. If you're buying it as the bundle, it will come as a ½ metre piece. And then to go with that, I love that. Look, spots and stripes together. Can you imagine you could have like a dress and or trousers and a top, or the bodice of a dress and the skirt? It just looks really lovely. And this is, and I like spots like this, big spots rather than little tiny spots. It's beautiful, isn't it? And although it's black and white, you see, this says summer to me, even though it's black and white, because I think it's sort of crisp and clean. So it's really lovely. But all sorts of things you can make with this. And being an all over like that as well, again, it's good when you need to cut smaller pieces. And then we have, are these badgers? Oh, it's called it must be skunks then, are they? Little Stinker. Look at this. So again, it's so subtly in there. If I turn it this way, you almost not necessarily see that they're there. It's just pattern. But yes, it's directional, but you've got this colour just going through. So it sort of starts with pinks and purples, yellows and greens, and then it goes all the way through, just repeat. So there's a little bit of colour going through. So that's really nice, just adding a little splash of colour, not too much, keeping that monochrome feel. It is really a sort of classic Tula pink design. Just a little bit of cheeky fun at the same time. And of course you can fussy cut this if you wanted to. If you want to have a skunk in the middle of a panel, you could fussy cut that panel to do so. And then we have the zebras. And again, just this little pop of colour, which I think is rather lovely. Look at this. So that's the other thing I'm noticing on these. So this one, I've laid it across. So this is the pattern is widthways. All of these lovely zebra going widthways. And they one of their stripes in each one is a different colour. And again, it's taking those colours, a sort of rainbow of colours going through. It's really lovely. Others of them, the pattern is on the length. So it's really good, isn't it? Just quickly recap the one I did at the beginning because we didn't show you the ½ metre price for that. So this is part of the bundle. And if Leave Me Alone, this one, with these circles of colour. So this one, the selvage is side to side, so you turn him, I say him, why is he a him? I don't know, it might be a her. Turn it up, so that's where you can see the lemur in the trees and on the ground. Just again, it's kind of so subtly there, you can hardly almost see it. But it's very cute, I like that. Can you see them? You can see the lemurs? Point one out here. Because you can almost not see them because of the design. They're in the trees, yes, I've got one here, he's right in the tree here, and his tail sort of blends with the tree there. Very cute, very different. Little bit of fun. So this, you can get ½ metre pieces on their own. So again, we've just been through them, or you can get the whole bundle, which means you get a ½ metre of each one, which is £66.99. Really lovely, beautiful quality fabric, free spirit fabric, really lovely. But that's not all we've got. Yeah, quilts, homeware, dressmaking, bag making. And if you have made anything, do send it and show us, because we like to see it. We like to see what people do. I mean, we all do that, don't we? When I look at the Sewing Street fan page, I'm just so inspired by the beautiful makes that people share. They really do look absolutely gorgeous. So that's these lovely fabrics. Oh, so we also have, oh yes, we do. We do indeed. We have, this is the other thing we have today. This is extra wide sateen quilt backing. But it's not just plain, so it's Tula Pink, but what it's got on it, so this goes with that bundle beautifully, because it's made from the same linework range, and what you have on it is you've got the birds, the zebras, the lemurs. Have we got the skunks? I don't know if we have. So we've got all of these on here, and the little hearts and the things, and also some writing. Which is really sweet. So black and white animals, zebras. This is almost like, to me, this is her design sheet. I don't know if it is, but that's what it looks like to me. It looks like this is her design sheet. This is what she was thinking. How am I going to put all this together? Because she's got like black and white animals, zebras, pandas, lemurs. So yes, a touch of vision. That would be good, wouldn't it? It's very soft because it's got that sateen in it. It's got a sort of very slight sheen to it. Beautiful to sew. Lovely. If you have this as a quilt, if you made a duvet cover as opposed to a quilt, and you had this on the underside, therefore the side that's closest to you, oh, it's so soft. It is so soft. Now, when I say it's ultra wide, oh, Kat's going to hold, this is half the width. So let me share. Let me step this way and I'll just throw it at you. Look at this. Can you see? Oh, we're going behind our little miss. This is the width. So this piece is this is 1/2 metre. So it's a 1/2 metre, but look at the width of that. So if you are thinking of having it as a as I said, duvet cover, maybe the back of it. Obviously, you need the length because you've got the width here. So you'd have to buy multiples of the 1/2 metre. But it's gorgeous. And it's not just plain, which is quite nice, I think. And as I say, I think to me, it looks like it's the design sheet that's been printed, which I think is a lovely idea, that you see some of her design process. I don't know if that's true, but it's what it looks like to me. Isn't that gorgeous? Going to fold that all back up again. Really lovely piece. So that is, so it's £12.99 for a 1/2 metre, but remembering it's that ridiculously long width. What width is that? Do we know?
108.
108 inches. 108 inches wide. So that's how much that is. A lot. Okay, which one am I going to go for now?
Shall we do some thread?
Oh, going to do thread. I've got to just bring some. We had the early bird this morning, but we've also got this box of threads. This is 20 reels. So this is called Tula Sunrise. Now, can I open it? It's another Aurifil box, and inside it you've got 2 little boxes. This is definitely a beautiful gift. That's the gift. I'm just trying to see if I can actually get in to see what the threads look like. Ah, we lift it up. Ooh, don't want to break it though. It's not been sealed down, has it? There we are. Look at that. So these are just plains. And another selection. So actually they work really well together, don't they, with the other bundle. Look at these. So again, they look gorgeous. So, I mean, you see the colours on this, and then bring that fabric back in, and you can see how it's picking out those colours that are on the fabric, they're on the reels. So you've got this amazing collection, 20 reels. Is there same thing, 220 yards, so 2 metres on each spool. It's the 50 weight Aurifil thread again. So you've got all that. So again, what does this work out per reel? £3 something, isn't it? We're just working that out. £3.34. but you're getting 200 metres. A lot of the time you see a reel of this size and it's got 100 metres on, so it's got double that on there. So it's going to go a long way, which is great. Basically £1.67 per 100 metres. So it's a good price for this really good quality, very good quality thread. And what it basically means is if you would normally buy 2 reels of thread to do something, you've got the one because you're getting double the quantity on it. So, and it's so beautifully presented in these little boxes. Oh, we've had a question about the sateen. It is cotton, and it's not shiny. It's not like satin. The difference between just regular cotton and cotton with sateen, it's got an extra E in the spelling, is it's just got this really soft feel to it. It feels like it's almost got like a silky feel to a cotton. And as I say, I've got a duvet cover made in cotton sateen, and it's just so gorgeous on your skin. You know, you're lying under and you're just all snugged up in this beautiful fabric. A dress in it. Oh, I mean, I know it sounds a bit wasteful, but you could make lovely PJs. A kimono dressing gown. You know, you could do quite a lot with that. And because of the width of it, can you do what? Yeah. Can you tell that we're sleepy because we both, you know, we've just had these sort of short nights sleep to get here early in the morning. So, sleepy and hungry, yes, by the end of the day. Do let us know if you've got any other questions, please. We are on Facebook Live today. So the last question I can see actually is about fish. Oh, no, we've got more coming. Oh, I have to scroll down. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Sorry. I didn't realise. I thought it would do it automatically. Oh, so thank you, all these people. Margaret, Hayley, Christine, Heather, Jan, Susan. Good morning to all of you. And thank you, Jan Bernard, for saying you love my jacket. Thank you very much. So here's one I did earlier. Yeah, I had to, you've put that in the corner. You put that in front of me. You don't let me get to it. We got these all out yesterday, actually, so I did have a little rummage yesterday. So these are all available by the half metre. So it's not a bundle. Some of them are very limited, but these are absolutely gorgeous fabrics. Let's start with the one on the top. Look at this. She put this on the top on purpose, didn't she? Moda Casada. This actually goes really beautifully with my jacket. So I could make a top out of this. A little shell top would look nice in this. I'd only need a metre. So half metre is £7.49. It's got these beautiful, so it's Moda, so it's another, you know, the quality of the fabrics, we do try and make sure the quality of the fabrics is really good. It's lovely soft feel to it. Doesn't crease terribly. I always do the crease test. You do that in the shops. I go into shops and I do that, much to shopkeepers' disgust. You've got, yes, there isn't a strip on the selvage showing the colour range, but you can see you've got sort of, there's orange and pink and purple and yellow and like a browny colour, just all going. It just looks almost psychedelic, doesn't it? Has a real sort of 60s look. Oh, that would be good in a shift dress. 2 metres for that. And then we've got the same design here in the green. So this is gorgeous as well. Not green. So this is lime green, mint green, chartreuse. It's got a lot of sort of lovely things. Just beautiful design. It's really lovely. Yes, it's green. I mean, I'm not, but I actually have got a dress in, which I will be wearing, in a lime green, which is lovely. I do love greens that are really bright and vibrant. You'll be surprised to know that. But these are absolutely gorgeous. Now, obviously, they are usually for quilting, which of course is great. You can do these, and again, you can fussy cut if you want to have designs in the middle of panels, but they are so beautiful. You have the same fabric in orange. Let me see if I can find that one. Here it is, so that we can see the 3. So this is the 3 in this design. So there you have it again. If you look at that, isn't it gorgeous? So again, you've just got all of these blends of colours and this really lovely design. And of course, they go beautifully together as well. I mean, you could actually mix them together. Make sure that label stays on there. So you could actually mix these together. Now these are printed, so they're not, the back is plain. Just worth noting that too. So really, really lovely colours. These would go beautifully if you were lucky enough to get the fabric bundle that we did. These will go beautifully with that. And of course, the early bird variegated threads as well. If you want to do some top stitching on the top, these would be perfect for that. This is another one that's absolutely gorgeous. This is just a mixture of colours, yes. And it feels so, oh, this is superb. This is a big dress, or it's a shift dress, or it's a shell top, or it's we had a wrap skirt, didn't we? We had on when we had Clive. You know, the fabric does all the talking. Keep it simple. This is so beautiful. We had an amazing hour with Darku from Dovetailed Limited, is it? I can't remember now. Dovetailed London, that's right. And she came with these African print fabrics, which are much sort of stiffer and hold form really well. Beautiful to stitch. This is soft, but it has the vibrancy of colours. So it's soft, it will fold, it will gather, it will pleat, it will look beautiful. And of course, if you want to add this to quilting, to making bags or anything at all, garden seats, you could do something like this. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is your chance to get it by the ½ metre. But don't forget, if you want a dress, you know, so if you want 3 metres, you'd buy 6 pieces and you would then get it in 1 piece. So it's cut for you by order. We have got a gorgeous little girl's dress later, which I think would be lovely in this, but there's also some other fabrics I'm going to show you in a sec. But let's look at this one. So that's, you do, we're thinking alike here. So, so look at this one here. Oh, it's got, all right, we've only got 8 metres left of this one. It's peacocks. Aren't they gorgeous? It's a little like peacocks, but just a different look. You can see if you put it up the right way, if you have it up the other way, you can't see what they are. So again, it's kind of like subtle, but that's really lovely. So it's directional, which is important to know. But yeah, I think that's really gorgeous. I mean, you know, obviously I always see dressmaking in these, but I can see these. I could see you could easily cut, if you wanted to, you know, do quilting, you could, you know, cut that panel. You could cut that as an applique. If you wanted to do that too, you could applique various bits on it. So you could use this and add it with plain, add a pop of colour to something. This is really gorgeous. It's quite a big design. And then we have that same design in orange. So let's get this one. You could, yeah, you definitely could, yeah, get a ½ metre of each one of these and you've got your own bundle there. It's only the one post and packing. So yeah, saves Kat having to put the bundles together. Oh, see, that's upside down. So then when you've got it upside down, it doesn't necessarily look like a peacock, does it? Let's turn it out the right way. This, yes, it does. It looks like, so that's, and I'm just going to put my hand alongside one of those. I want to just show you the size of that design. Can you see? That's how big that design is. It's always worth noting that when you're thinking about what you're going to use it for. So you can see, it's a lovely big design there. Really beautiful. That's sort of softer colours on that one. And then we have the last one, I'm going to say in this collection, but it isn't a collection because they're all individually available. But the last one that we've got for you today on this is this one here. Look at this. This is different. It's different, but again, look at the vibrancy of those colours. It's so beautiful. And it is that same lovely soft cotton. Ooh, and I've just managed to take the label off. Lovely soft cotton there. It's really gorgeous. Lovely, lovely colours. And they do go well together. I'm bring in that one. So if you're using them for quilting or bags or anything like that, you can bring in these combination colours and make them look gorgeous and really pop. That's that one. So they're all from the Moda collection. So completely different from the Tula Pink. We've got a picture in from Julia. This is what she's made. Let's have a look. Oh, one of Delphine's cow cushions. You see, look at that. So that's on the Tula Pink collection. Isn't that lovely? Yes, so the reds and the rings in the nose and things. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love that. I love all those designs. I see a lot of those on the Sewing Fan page, and it is really lovely. So there's a few chances left for that bundle if you still want it. So do take a look. That's the bundle, $66.99, and you get 9 pieces, 9 half-metre pieces for that. So you can see that you've got all those there. I'm just going to scroll in case there's anything. You'll tell me, won't you, if there's anything I need to look at. I've just got lots of people saying they're watching. This is really lovely. Thank you, Laura, for your hearts. Happy Good Friday to you too. That's really sweet. And Claire said, good morning. Oh, the fabric is lovely this morning. It is beautiful. Good Friday, great fabrics. Look, I've got these. Oh, I'm not allowed to tell you those now. Do these ones. I like these two. So right, I like them all. So it's all right, fine. So we've just got these two from Alison Glass. So again, they're by the half metre. We'll start with the white. It says beige. But it's an off-white. It's not brilliant white. Sort of almost creamy. And what earlier Kat was saying, can you see the colours that are involved? Sometimes on the selvage, and probably on the others, but not the piece that we had. What you get on the selvage is you can just see here the colours that have been used. So we were saying yesterday, sometimes it's worth, because you need to cut off the selvages, because selvages tend to be wound more tightly than the rest of the fabric. So you really want to cut them off, otherwise you can distort the project you're making. But keep them, cut them off and keep them, because I've actually seen sort of cushion covers which are just selvage stripes all sewn together. And they do look really good, and some of these selvages are beautiful. So this is a really lovely piece. Again, quality of fabric that we have come to expect. $6.49 for the half metre piece. So that's a good price. So basically it's £13 if you're buying a metre. That's such a good price for such quality fabric as this. Alison Glass print, so it's really beautiful. Oh, so a message from Pauline coming on the bottom of the screen, which is now going to challenge me because I haven't got the right glasses. For a simple shift dress, size 18, she's saying, I would actually err on the side of caution and get at least 2.5 metres. You probably only need 2, but I would go for 2.5. Basically what you need, you've got your width twice and your length. And so, because that's all you're going to need. If you don't have sleeves as well, you have to have another half metre for your sleeves. But otherwise, you just sort of need your width twice and length. So, what do we know what the width of this fabric is? 45. So you might need your length twice, in other words, because you won't get your front and your back out of 45 inches, not unless you're a skinny bean. So you will need your length twice, whatever length it's going to be. So I would definitely say probably 2.5 metres. I just generally, as a rule, I tend to buy 3 metres when I'm buying fabric before I know what I'm going to make from it. It does mean I have leftover bits, but obviously you can make a face mask out of some of the leftover bits. You can make a headband, you can make a bag, you can just use it in your quilting project. So there's always something to use. They're beautiful. These fabrics are beautiful. They are mainly quilting fabrics, so you can use them for quilting, craft making, home furnishings, but they're also great for dressmaking because they're lovely soft cottons. They really are. And some of these prints, I mean, the whole point, if you're a beginner dressmaker and you're making something like a shift dress or a shell top. So a shell top is basically a sleeveless top, little top. If you're making something like that, use a really wild print. If your stitching's not perfectly straight, it won't show. You'll be fine. So use a lovely print. Let the print of fabric do the talking. Keep the pattern simple, and you still get a stunning outfit. So this is the other colourway of this one. This Alison Glass one, and I love this again because you've just got all these sort of rainbow colours, and it's sort of spots and stripes all in one really, because actually they're stars. They're beautiful stars. And it's a lovely sort of all over print here. So this is really good if you need small pieces, if you want to have borders, stripes, slats, sashing, something like that. You could cut the handles out of something like this because you can cut small bits when it's an all over print like this. It's really, really beautiful. Love that one. Okay, you're going to let me get to my other ones because these last two fabrics, these are just super cute. This one. So these have been queuing politely. Queuing politely, these have. We like a queue, don't we? We know what we're doing when we're getting a queue. So this is flamingos. They look like they're dancing to me, actually, because one little leg is sticking up a bit. So these are $4.99 for a half-metre piece. So when we do the next show, is it the next show? When are we doing the show with the little dress? That's 11 o'clock, isn't it? When we do the show with the little dress, which is next to me here, can you see? Wouldn't that look cute in this? Wouldn't that look cute in this? I can check the pattern later. I think you're not going to need much more than a metre. So this is absolutely, use 2 metres. Okay, so you need 2 metres for that dress because it's got the hat as well and you've got the gathering. But isn't that gorgeous? And it's a really lovely summery cotton weight. It's lovely and soft against the skin. That would be so lovely. So it's $4.99. So if you just times that by 4, it's a beautiful handmade dress. And of course, I mean, you know, I'm talking about the little one, but you can make this for yourself as well. You don't have to be a child to enjoy this. So this is really lovely. This is the uniform one in that they're standing politely in queues. They're queuing up politely in rows. And then we have the rebels. This is our party flamingos. They are having a ball. No social distancing here. Look at them. Look at them go. So these are all over the place. They're sort of up and down. So there's no direction to this, which means that it's easier to work with and you don't have to worry about it being the right way up. But they're still flamingos and they're just jigging about here, having a good time on this, again, this beautiful cotton fabric, Rose and Hubble quality. Well, it's Rose and Hubble fabrics, that's why it's quality. $4.99 half metre, so under £10 for a metre. This is really nice fabric. Oh, so, good morning. I have to scroll down. Oh my goodness, there's so many lovely messages. So, I've got to Georgina. Keep going. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, this is a technique and a half. Anyway, Georgina says, okay, so Georgina is asking what this big roll is about. So shall we go back to that in our last few seconds before we go on to the next show? So that roll, Georgina, and for everybody else watching who've just joined me, is a prize. And you can win that prize if you spot it's heavy. If you spot the Easter egg, which is on set, but not just today. So this little Easter egg, little golden Easter egg, will be on set for the next 4 days in a different place each day. What you need to do is you grab a pen and paper, write down where it is today, keep a note, and then tomorrow find it again, make a note, and do the same on Sunday and the same on Monday. And then on Monday, you email your 4 answers to studio@sewingstreet.com. And what you can win is this enormous, mega bundle. Now, when Kat and I counted, because we counted it with it all rolled up like this, we counted 97. There might be 100, we might have missed 3, because there is huge amounts. Look at this, look. I can't go through them all, it would just take too long. Absolutely huge amounts. And you're seeing the backs of them here, because that's the front, can you see? Just here, and they're half metres, across the width as usual. So this is how you would normally buy these. So absolutely beautiful fabric, and you get this whole huge ginormous bundle that keep you going forever. Now I think it's ridiculous price. Prize. This is just too much, and all you have to do is spot an Easter egg. So it's really good. So 4 times, you need to spot it 4 times, and then you just email in your answer, and that's what you're going to get, this ginormous bundle. Can you see on the end there? Just see how they're all coiled around, all the different colours. So really lovely. Coming up after the break, we have got the Tic Tac Toe, or noughts and crosses, game, and it's a project from Debbie Shaw's book. So of course we've got the book. Rebecca Harrison is going to demo this. It's a fun project to make, and it's a great one to play in the garden, to take on your picnics and walks and things that we're allowed to do now. So she's going to come back with me in just a few minutes, so do stay watching. We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters, and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Harrison. I live in Bromyard in Herefordshire with my 3 children and my dog. I've been sewing for over 30 years. I first started at school. We always did lots of sewing, and my mum used to sew at home as well, so that's where my love of sewing has come from. My background is in costume, as I'm sure you can see, and I make for film and theatre and TV. I've worked on films such as Titanic, Shakespeare in Love, Evita, James Bond, and theatre work. I've done things like Mary Poppins, Guys and Dolls, Prince of Egypt. I've also worked for the Royal Opera House and the Royal Ballet. When I worked at Angels, I was lucky enough to meet lots of film stars. They're all walking around the building and in fittings. And some of the people that I bumped into and met were Sir Richard Attenborough, Hugh Grant, Imelda Staunton, Juliette Binoche, and I even got in the lift with Christopher Lee. And that's where I met the lovely John Scott, which obviously you all know. I'm really pleased to be joining Sewing Street. I can't wait to see you all.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again. Hi, welcome back. Happy Good Friday. I'm Wendy Gardner, and I'm joined this hour by Rebecca Harrison. who a lot of you will know and have seen her before. Very, very experienced, mainly on dressmaking, but today she's using her other skills. You know, us dressmakers, we do everything, almost. So what we're doing today is we are going to have a demo from Rebecca on how to make this project here, which is Tic Tac Toe. It's a bag, a tote bag and a game with a magnetic clasp. Actually, you're looking at the one that was taken earlier, but if you look at the one that's on my table now, I've just won. Okay, just saying, I've just won. Actually, get them all going in the same direction. But I was only playing against myself, so it was quite easy to win. So what we have on here, obviously we've got Debbie's book, because that's where the project has come from. And then we have also got kits and bundles, so you can make it, and you can make it in 4 colourways, and basically you get what you need apart from the thread. So you get what you need to make it, so it's really good. So the book, let's start with the book. This is So Outdoor Living. Now, obviously, most of you will know Debbie Shaw, beautiful, lovely lady, very skilled, and she's done a whole load of really books, and the projects are always incredibly colourful, beautifully written, and everything looks great. And what we have here, this is the Tic Tac Toe. We kind of marked up where the page is if we wanted to look at it. But going through, there's all sorts of things for outdoor living, sort of, you know, tablecloths, pillows, cushions. And you're getting some techniques as well. So if you do a piped cushion, you've got how to do the piping. You've got zip insertion. So there's loads of projects. Beanbag stool. Some of the fabrics we were looking at yesterday, and Elliot was saying, I'd like that in a beanbag. Got a beanbag stool here. Heart decorations. I mean, there is sort of something for every taste. And to really make your garden, because this is the thing now, gardens aren't just for gardens, are they? They're outdoor living now, aren't they? Outdoor spaces. And this is lovely. I did one of these in a book I wrote a long time ago, just making a little tent out of some fabric. It's a really great idea. Kids love to play in tents. So everything you can think. Little teepee here, and we've even got bunting to go with it, little mini bunting. Beautiful cushion, how to put the trims on, buttons and buttonholes. So that's lovely, just a different look. Oven gloves. I suppose you do, if you want to have a barbecue, you're going to need your oven gloves, aren't you? And mats, and look at this lovely picnic mat that you can then fold up and carry with you. That's really lovely. Patchwork picnic mat. She makes sure her books are jargon free. They are good for beginners. The photography is beautiful. I think it's done by her husband, actually. And they are beautifully photographed. The steps are nice and easy to follow. The only thing we did notice on this, it doesn't say a seam allowance on the project, so you can decide that for yourself. But generally speaking, 1/4 metre is probably what you would need, or what you did is you said you just use the edge of your press foot.
I did, yeah.
Which makes it really simple.
Yeah, because then you're the same.
Yeah, so that's the same
length,
every time, and
yeah.
that's the thing you need to be consistent.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yes, so that's the thing you can be, and I think that's a great idea anyway, particularly for beginners. If you use the edge of
Definitely
press
it's
foot,
your
it
guide,
makes
isn't
it
it?
nice and easy as a
Yeah.
guide. So this is, you know, like a frilled chair cushion. So you might not have that size chair. You don't have to worry. She tells you how to make the pattern. Very simple. So you can make it to fit. Obviously bunting in a bag. And I like the way she's made the bag, the shape of the bunting.
Yeah, it's good,
Makes
isn't
perfect
it? Yeah.
sense when you
Yeah.
think about it. So the bunting goes in there. So you store it when you don't want it dangling. But look at that. It just makes it, I think, you know, I've got a garden and I need to do, it's basically a blank screen, and I don't garden. I have no idea about gardening. I'm just thinking, she's got plant pot covers, she's got bunting, we've got tulips later. I'm thinking maybe I'll have a fabric garden.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to garden it. I wouldn't
No.
have to be pruning and stuff, would
And
I?
it would be beautiful
It would
all
be
the time.
beautiful. Look at these, you see. I haven't read it completely, but I don't know whether she's added, because that's that Odicott you could add to make it waterproof, could you? Do you think?
Yeah.
If you wanted.
Yes.
Not that it matters if it gets wet, it'll dry, but you might find it doesn't dry quickly enough. These were the mats, look. So, I mean, these mats, this is an outdoor, I mean, it says it's outdoor, you could have this indoors, but it's not just a placemat, this is using reverse applique, so it's a new technique. You're learning a new technique as well. So it's all beautiful. Today we are focusing on the Tic Tac Toe. So if you want the instructions on how to make it, you do need to get the book, which is £10.49. But not only do you have that, you have 22 projects. So there's 22 projects in here to have everything that you need to snazz up your garden or your picnic or whatever. So basically that works out a 47p a project. Crazy. Obviously a lot of you might already have the book, so that's fine. So what you're going to get now is a demo on making one of these projects. But what do we do with our bundles? So our bundle is, I'm going to bring this forward. So in each, we've got 4 different bundles, and each of the bundles, what we get is a huge bag here of soy or a toy or cushion cover. Super soft this is. It is actually beautifully soft, isn't it? It's lovely. Much more than you need.
Oh, loads more.
Loads more than you need. So you'll have plenty left over for other projects. So you get a really lovely, it's always useful. You also get a whole roll. It's a metre. A metre, you said. Yes? A metre of black felt. So you're using the black felt for the bodies of your little ladybirds and bees. So again, loads left over for future projects. You also get a ½ metre of white, and this is just being used for the grid. So again, plenty left over. So this is really good. You're going to have lots left over. And then you get, in order to do the little bodies, you've got a 9-inch square of red, white and 2 yellow. I'll just show you what a 9-inch square looks like. So it's quite a nice size. You must get, yes, it's only on one side, so you must get 4 little bumblebees out of one square. Is that right?
You cut strips.
Oh, you cut. Oh,
Little-
okay.
little strips.
You cut strips.
Yeah, for the
Which you'll be
bodies.
told about
Yeah.
in a minute. Yes. Lovely. So that's those. You also get the magnetic clasp, and are you showing how to put this on today?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. So Rebecca's going to show, but if you didn't know and you miss it or whatever, it's in the book anyway. You also then get, so you get all of that, and then you also get a metre of one of these. So first one we're on is this one, which is the navy stripe. So you get a metre of this navy stripe, and that is for the whole of the bag. It's for the bag front, the back, the lining and the handles. Okay, so you make the whole lot out of that. So you can have it stripy that way, you can have it stripy that way. It's up to you how you do that. Or we have a blue spot. So everything else in the kit plus this. Okay, so this is your choices are which main fabric. So this is the second main fabric, which is a blue spot. Again, you get a metre. This is the one that we have on our sample just here. So you're still getting the ½ metre of white, you're getting the black felt, the red, the yellow and the white felt, the magnetic clasp, the toy stuffing, getting all of that. This is the next one, a red stripe. This is definitely beach holiday, isn't it? You just think of deck chairs and things, don't you, with this?
Yeah.
This is lovely. And it's a great thing to take to the beach. Because actually, although the bag is great for holding your little ladybirds, you can put more stuff in there.
Definitely.
It's a big bag, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So you can have other stuff in there as well. So that's your third choice. And again, this is a metre of the stripe, and again, you get everything else. You get the ½ metre of the white, the black felt, the yellow felt, the red felt, the white felt, the magnetic clasp, the toy stuffing. I feel like I should have a conveyor belt for all of this. And finally, we have this lovely summery yellow spot, which is really lovely too. So yellow spot here, sorry it's creased. Let's phone it over so it doesn't look so creased. So this is, again, a metre with everything else in that bundle. So for £24.99, you get everything to make this bag, but you will have plenty left over to also make other things, other projects later, because there's plenty. Now, you can see from the sample we've got here that you use the blue spot, but this one you're using the red stripe.
Red stripe, yeah.
Just to be different. You do need as well, you need some other things when you're making this, which aren't included. Oops, so you need the glue and you need interfacing. We'll start with the glue. This is £4.99. This is a universal adhesive glue, so you can use it for all sorts of projects. Couple of tips though, you were saying, in a well-ventilated room, because it is quite pungent, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
We don't want you all going off wild with toxic hallucinations. And also when it's warm, the glue has a tendency to keep on coming.
Yes, a little
So
bit,
you
yeah.
said you worked on a piece of calico.
Yeah, spare fabric, anything that you don't mind
Ruining,
getting
yeah.
glue on, really, yeah. And just
Yeah.
work on that, and so you won't ruin your surfaces or, you know, anything
Because there's
else.
quite a bit of gluing, isn't there?
Yes.
So you
yeah.
definitely need glue.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so are you going to show us a bit of
I am,
gluing?
yes,
So
I am.
we'll see that as well. And then we also have here iron on, so fusible interfacing, and you need that for the bag.
Yes.
So that's to stabilise the bag and make it...
Give it a bit of
Give it a
structure.
bit of structure and
Yeah.
strength, yes. So you do need iron-on interfacing. This is a medium weight, and this pack here is 1 metre by 1 metre. So it's 1 metre square, medium weight one. There are instructions on the back here of how to apply it. Basically, it's the same as any other fusible interfacing. Do use a press cloth between the interfacing and your iron so that it doesn't shrivel up when you put it on there. And I always use steam. Do you always use steam?
Yeah.
So I use a press cloth. I always have an organza press cloth, but you can use an old tea towel or pillowcase or something like that. But you want to bond it permanently, and the only way you're going to do that is holding a hot steam iron in place for a good 10 seconds. So if you do it without a press cloth, you end up burning the fabric and the interfacing shrivel. But it does mean it's permanent. And then finally, just for fun, you don't need these for the project, but you do need them because they're cute. We've just got a little pack here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 7. Yeah, 7. 7 little ladybirds. Now, somebody told me the other day that the number of spots on the back is their age.
That's what
Have
I
you heard
always.
that?
That's what
Yeah.
I was always told. Yeah.
So I never sort of looked at them that closely to see if I've got an old one or a young one. I do like them though.
Yeah, they're
They're
lovely.
really cute, aren't they? So just so that you know, the most popular bundle at the moment is the navy stripe. Are we going to change that when we go across to Rebecca and she shows us it in the red? So let's find out. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, hi.
So please start
Right,
your demonstration.
okay. This is such a fun project. It's so much fun to do, and to do with your children. If
I
you
was
do it with your
gonna say,
children,
could you do it with the children?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, it depends on how young they are. Supervised with the glue,
Yes, yes,
obviously.
absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, it's a lovely thing to do with them. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
I just love the fact it's a game that's not
Well,
on a computer screen.
No, yeah,
So
exactly.
It's a proper
so
game.
it's great in your garden or picnic,
Yes.
or as you said, to the beach. You know, it's very easy. You can just put it in the car. It's not going to take up any room, and it's there whenever you go out for a journey or whatever.
Yes.
You know.
I mean, they could even play it in the back of the car, couldn't they?
Yeah.
On a journey.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. If there's enough space, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's great. It's really good. So first things first is making your little bugs out of the different felt. So I mean, I've got an array here of ones that I've already done. This little chap here has got nothing yet, so we're going to make him into something. And like you say, you get your black, your red, and your yellow. So with the black, move these
So is
little
the
bits out of
body
the way.
shape the same for all of them?
Yes, yeah. So in the back of Debbie's book, she's got some templates right at the back here. And you need the 3-inch, the 2-inch, and the 1-inch for this particular thing. So if you trace those off,
Light box moment. Sorry, I got my A3 light box yesterday, and
oh,
I'm just so thrilled with it. I mean, I've already got one at home, but I
Yeah.
got another one, and I'm so thrilled. I was trying to shoehorn it into every show like yesterday. Perfect for this.
yeah, definitely, yeah. So yes, you trace those off, and then like she's shown in the book, you place the 3-inch. Let me move that up there. The 3-inch, and then you overlap the 2-inch to make the head. So you end up with a shape like that. I've cut mine out in card because you're cutting 12 little bugs out. So I cut them in card to give them some
Yeah.
you know, to make it a bit more sturdy.
So
And then
you can use either template plastic, or you could use a
Yes.
cereal box, couldn't you?
yeah, anything you can find that's just a bit sturdier than
Yes.
paper. And then you need another 3-inch one for the ladybird, the red circles for the ladybird's back. Your 1-inch is for the ladybird spots, that. And there's the little wing which is also, there's a template for that in the back as well that you can, and those, you need the white for your little wings. So you end up with 12 little bugs. And then you need, for the yellow, you need 1/2 inch strips of yellow. So just cut the square up in lots of little strips. And then obviously you need the 2 wings per little bumblebee, like that. So let me just move those to one side for the moment. So get your black.
Kat's just saying, don't do this on a windy day. Well, you wouldn't necessarily, it can be windy outside if you're doing it inside.
Yeah.
So you'd be all right.
Yeah, yeah. Perhaps do your cutting inside and the gluing outside.
Yes.
That would be transfer it to outside. Now, do you know what I've gone and done? I've forgotten my little tailor's chalk.
Oh,
and I can't see.
There is
there
I
any?
don't know if it's
So
going to
sorry.
work, but there is a friction pen, but it's black.
Okay.
Would that be of any use?
Let's give it a go, shall we? Let's give it a go. Thank you. So place your shape of your bug on your black, and I don't know if we're going to be able to see that, are we, on the black? Oh, I'm so sorry. I've gone and left it in. I'll try and do it with a bit of pencil. Oh, you're a star. Thank you. As if by magic, look. Taylor's chalk appears. Fantastic. And it's nice and new as well. Lovely. So, yeah, so just, and this is a bit easier if you've got something like card, because you can just...
It's easier to go. Otherwise, if it was paper, you probably have to pin it in place.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
yeah.
You can just hold it with this.
So you can go around like that, and then there's another one, fit another one on there. Like so. And what I like to do is, before I cut them out, I put a pin in the middle just to hold the two together, so when you're cutting out it doesn't move. And then just cut around your shape.
These are things. I mean, older kids could do the cutting out
as
well, couldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it's just, you know, if you're doing it with younger children, obviously just make sure you supervise them. So
yeah, absolutely, yes. But I think it's great to do crafting with children. I always say this because I did with my boys my boys are now 22 and 26, so they hate me saying this, but they used to sew with me. They can both use a sewing machine competently.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, mine can to a degree. It's usually, can you make this?
Oh yes, yeah. Now it's definitely, and both of mine are skinny beans, so they're both over 6 foot tall. Oh. So they have to buy large to get the length. Yeah. But then I have to take everything in, huge amounts.
Oh gosh, no. So now we've got the red. Now you can fit on one of these squares. You can get your 6. I'm going to just swap colour of chalk, because red won't show up on red. So if you place them...
That's a good thing about those chalks. Do we sell those chalks? I'm assuming we do. Oh, they're on tomorrow's show, that's why we were able to grab them quickly. Very useful to having the different colours in the pack. Okay, so the ladybird spots, thank you Maureen, the ladybird spots denote its species and genes, not its age.
Not its age.
And the most common is the 7 spot.
Well, there
Love
you
the
go.
demo. Thank you. Well, there we are. So it's their species. I didn't know there was more species. I thought a ladybird was a ladybird. And their genes.
Oh, crikey. Well, there you go.
Yes, not their denims. Can you imagine all these little ladybirds wearing a pair of jeans?
Oh, it'd be quite cute, wouldn't it? So yeah, so I'm just, again, I've put a pin just to secure the two together, and then just
So these are the
cut
ladybird
round.
wings.
These are the wings of the ladybird. And then once you've done that, you're going to cut through the centre, but not all the way. So leave a gap at the top.
Does it say in the book how
To
much
about
for
there?
that?
No, just says to leave.
Just leave a gap, yeah.
Yeah, because once they're glued on, they sort of come apart a little bit, so it looks a bit more like a
Like
ladybird.
wings,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, like wings.
Yeah.
So you do that with so there's 6 of those. So like I said, you can placing them on the one you can get your 6 out of your 1 9-inch square.
So it's a good idea to do what you've done is to draw round. So you folded it in half and draw around it 3 times to make sure you've got it on.
Yeah. So you know that it fits on. And then with the bumblebee for his wings, what have I done with my tape measure? There it is. You just either use your tape measure or your chalk if you're not as confident to follow. And then
so you
just
could draw the lines on,
yeah,
couldn't you?
yeah.
Using a ruler.
And then you just cut up and then just keep going, and it does you'll have a little bit left over, but you do need the 2 to get, because you've got 3 you've got 3 lines going over the bumblebee, so you do need the 2 yellow squares, but that was left over, so you will have that left over for doing something else. Yeah.
So actually, if you make this for yourself and your family, and then you can make it for a friend as well then.
Yeah.
The only thing you'd need, of course, is probably, you need more red because you haven't got enough red.
Yes.
But you'd also need another of the main piece, wouldn't you?
Yes, yeah.
But you've got enough black, you've got enough wadding.
Yes.
So,
you've got plenty of wadding.
Yes.
Yeah, there's absolutely loads of
Well,
wadding.
you can use wadding for all sorts of things,
Yeah,
can't you?
you
So
can.
it's really useful to have.
You can. Now, with when you say what I did, now Debbie in her book, the way that she stuffs the little bugs, she makes a hole in the back and then puts the stuffing through, and then hand sew that gap together. So what I did, because I'm confident on the sewing machine, I stitched around my bug and left a gap at the end, put the filling in, and then went back under the machine and stitched through. But if you're new to sewing, or you're not as confident perhaps with the sewing machine, then do as Debbie says in the book, and make a little hole, and then just with a needle and thread just stitch it up.
And because it's felt, you haven't got to worry about raw edges.
No,
that
exactly.
Yes.
So that's the nice thing
but
about
like you,
it.
I probably would stuff, because you can push the stuffing out of the way of the seam,
Yes.
sew the seam, and then kind of like
just
push it
don't
back.
don't overstuff them,
Yeah.
and then you can get through. Now I'm just aware that my sewing machine has got white thread on.
Well, that's probably
and
good
obviously,
for this, isn't
yes,
it? Yes, good
you
for
need,
a demo.
Yeah, you need obviously black. So I'm just going to start stitching round.
Regular stitch length?
Yeah,
changing that?
yeah.
And seam allowance you're taking?
What's that on? That's on. I was going to say that is very slow. I'm just using as little as possible.
So,
but obviously, you don't want to. You want to make sure that when you've stuffed your little bugs, it's not going to come out.
yes. So between a quarter. and an
about a
eighth, maybe?
quarter. Yeah, about a quarter of an inch, I would say. So just go around your shapes carefully. So I'm going to stop that there, so that I can do my stuffing. So if I do there's just so much in here. It's great. A little opening.
And with stuffing, it's a little bit at a time, isn't it?
Yeah.
And push
So
it
I
in.
would, put a little bit in and make sure it goes up into the head of your little bug. Because you can always put some more in. So I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Fill him up a little bit more. Maybe even a little bit more. And then I'll go back over to the machine and finish. So position it, you know, back over the stitching that you've already done. Do a little back stitch to secure it, and then carry on round.
So just overlapping a little bit, just to make sure it stays secure.
That's it. Let's just move that out of the way. Well, that's your little bug gone right around there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do some gluing. So I'm going to bring in this fabric that I brought with me, just a scrap piece of fabric that you don't mind if it gets ruined with glue. Because for the bumblebee, you have to glue the yellow stripes on before you sew round.
All right, okay.
So that's so it's secure. So you just overlap it a little bit so you've got some extra, and just cut it off. So you want three lines of yellow. That's it. And then get your glue. You'll see it's dripping already because it's quite warm in here, isn't it?
Okay. Yes. So we've had a question from Georgina. Let's have a look at the question. Yes, I think, Georgina, I think that's a good point. Can you stitch the spots or stripes? And yes, you could.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing
if you
to
prefer
say.
not to glue this. I mean, the idea I think of the project is it's quick and fun and something you can do easily with children. But absolutely, there's no reason why you can't stitch the little circles on. And again, you can stitch the wings on because the wings here are only attached sort of at the top.
Yes.
That's the idea, because they're wings and they can fly. So you could just put a few stitches around there. You could just put a few stitches around the spots, and it would obviously save having to do. You could, yes, indeed. So Kat's saying what you could do with the stripes is actually you could zigzag the edges.
Yes.
And you could even cut them in zigzag, actually.
Yeah, you could do
shears, couldn't
absolutely.
You? But you could just give them that edge. So yes, you can definitely stitch along those. So depending on how confident you can feel, whether you stitch in yellow or black as well.
Yeah, with the ladybird, you finish your bug before you glue the red on with the spot. So obviously, keep it flat like this. If you were going to sew it on a flat shape first of all, and then go round and then stuff it, because you wouldn't be able to stitch that wing on once it was stuffed.
Or you'd be stitching through a bit of
the
stuffing
or
as well,
do it by
you?
hand.
Yeah.
Or do it by hand if you don't want to do it on the...
I was thinking by hand, but yeah, you could do it by machine. You just have to, because the wings do overlap the body, you'd have to fold them out of the way when you're stitching the body if you'd stitch them on first, wouldn't you?
So I'm just
gluing, I think I would just do that little bit of stitching by hand.
I'm just gluing the spots on.
I suppose what you could do, I mean, I always like to play devil's advocate. You could cut smaller spots and you could have lots of spots.
You could have, absolutely.
You could do whatever you like.
Yeah, completely up to you how you want to do it. So I would leave that to dry, obviously, but for these purposes, I'm going to crack on. So put your two bodies together, and I'm just going to put a pin in there so it doesn't move around.
I was going to say, do you cut those off before you
trim the excess yellow off. It's starting to look like a bumblebee now. And again, just go around the outside, and this will anchor down the edges of the stripes as well, so they're not going to move anywhere.
But thinking of Georgina's questions about sewing, I think if you were thinking of very young children playing this, I would sew.
Yes, yeah,
because
you
you don't
probably
want them
wouldn't
pulling
them
off
to,
the
no,
spots and the wings.
No, definitely.
And potentially putting them in their mouths and choking. So yeah, definitely I would then.
Okay, there he is. Let's cut that off.
Yeah, you could actually, I mean this, this is actually for this game, but Kat's just saying you could actually use this template to make sort of brooches, or you could put things, so you could decorate a bag.
Yeah.
So you can use these little bugs for other things as well, can't you? And as I say, you can do different size spots if you wished. You could put beads on for eyes. And you could add add as much detail as you fancy, really.
Yeah. There's just the basics are there, aren't they?
Yes.
And then you can, do with them what you want, really. So just close him up. It's like surgery, isn't it, on a little bug. There we go. So now
That's
he can
your
have
little body.
have his little wings on. That out of the way.
So I remember years ago that when before you put the lid back on the glue, you'd put a pin down it.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
So it's to stop the lid getting stuck on, wasn't it?
Yes.
I don't know if that still works or whether it even ever did work, to be honest, but I just remember that's what we were taught to do.
Yeah. That was I think that works more with PVA glue, doesn't it?
Does it?
Possibly.
So again, you're just gluing the tops.
I'm just gluing the tops,
so they can sort of fly.
Yeah. And then I'm just put a little bit of glue just around the top there on the red. And then stick that down. And again on that one.
So at the moment I've got a conversation going on, not in my head, I can tell you, but in my ear. So Kat was saying what she would be tempted to do is on the bumblebee wings, she would use like a really beautiful metallic gold thread to have like veins and things on the wings.
Yes.
Emma's reply was, really? I would do the minimum I need. Hey, but this is a project for everybody. So you can do the minimum that's needed to create this really quickly with children for fun, or you can actually get elaborate if you want to do it as a brooch or something, or just because you want to make it more elaborate, you can indeed add some extra decoration.
Yeah, so that's all. So that's them all done.
Oh, we've got a little message here. Apparently there are 26 different ladybird species in the UK. 26! Thank you, Maureen, for that. All colours and spots, and 5,000 species in the world. Wow, that is amazing.
Gosh, I did not know that.
No. So there's your little collection.
So those are your little collection, 6 of each. So now we're going to get onto the bag.
Right.
So let me push those to one side.
This is, I think this is nice because you're working, if you're a beginner, or as I say, working with the children, you're working with fabric, with felt. So, the felt doesn't fray, so that makes it nice and easy.
Yeah.
So this is good, and nice quality fabrics.
Yes, it is. They're lovely to work with. So for your bag, you need 9 squares, so you can play your game. And the great thing is, with the striped fabric, you can put them in different directions.
Yes,
I mean,
do like that.
Debbie's done that in her book as well with the blue. So it shows you how to do that. If you want to do that, you can do that. But I think that's quite a nice thing to do.
I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Makes a nice bag on its own, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you need 9 squares, 5-inch squares. So you need nine of those. And then with your white, you... let me just double check. Right, white. So you need 6.
Don't worry too much because you need to get the
Strips.
book to get the
Yeah.
pattern anyway, don't
Yeah.
you? So you cut that into strips.
6 of the little strips and 2 of your longer strips, and then 4 wider strips that make the border that go round. So I am going to finish off the front with the squares. So I'm going to place, so I'm going to do that way, that way. So I've got them going different like the others. And all I'm going to do is pin each white piece.
Where it's got to go.
Yeah, like that. And then that one to that one. Do this one at a time.
Yes. And what I do is exactly what you've done. I
I'm
leave it laid out.
speeding up.
So that you can, because it's laid out, you can then put it back and then do the next piece and
Yeah.
put it back and make sure it's all in. If you're a bit worried, I mean, it's absolutely fabulous with the stripes going different ways, but if you're a bit worried about doing that, then go for the spotty options, because you haven't got to worry about putting your stripes in different ways. You don't have to put your stripes in different ways anyway, do you?
No,
But
not
if
at
you
all.
go for the spot, there isn't the option to do that,
No.
so it makes it simple.
No, it's just, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yes.
Do that one. And then use about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Stitch all those down. It's quite good on here. It's got a guide on the edge of this foot on this machine.
Yes, you've got a 1/4 inch foot on.
Yeah.
We were discussing that yesterday, actually, how some 1/4 inch feet are different to others, so it's not always a perfect 1/4 inch. But what matters on this, of course, is it's the same every time.
Yeah, that's the I think that's the thing. Is if you, stick all the way through, stick to a. If there's if you've got a guide on your foot, stick to that all the way through. It's a bit like piecing together a jigsaw.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was surprised it was made like this, actually, which works. It makes sense when you're doing it with the stripes. I thought it would be one panel with a grid sewn on top.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you could with the spotty.
But you'd have to turn the edges in, wouldn't you?
You
with
would,
your
yeah.
strips?
I should imagine this will appeal to quilters out there.
Yes, it will do. But I think because it's quite simple to do, I think this is a great way, if you're not a quilter, to have a little go.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Just
We've got, Maria has said a green fabric would be nice, so it would be like a little bit of grass.
Yes.
That's a nice idea.
That is a
isn't
nice
it?
idea.
One of those lovely fabrics from that bundle that's sold out. Would look really nice. Sorry, sold out.
So I'm just going to press those open. And the great thing about this is, well, you don't have to worry about any raw edges because it all gets hidden away. That's that one. And then if you bring in the piece that you've already done, and then you can see which way you want it to go, and then you're just going to stitch this long piece.
So you're just pinning. And the other good thing about actually having it like this, so basically it's sashing in between, is you haven't got to worry too much about perfectly matching your corners because you've got that stripe in between them, haven't you?
Yeah.
So again, great one for beginners at quilting.
Just make sure your seams that you've pressed, you keep them flat.
So don't forget, everybody, that you can, whilst Rebecca's doing that scene, you can buy this as a kit, and you can buy it in 4 different colourways. So in the kit you get a roll of 1 metre of black felt. You get, let me bring these forward, you get 1 metre of black felt, you get a bag, which is, does it say how much it is in there? 250 grams, if that means anything to you, of lovely super soft toy filling. You only need a little bit of it, you'll have plenty over. You get a magnetic clasp, where you can put a clasp on the bag. You have 1 metre of white, which is the grid, so you've got plenty left over. Sorry, 1/2 metre of white, so you've got plenty left over for future. And then in felt, as well as the black, you get a 9-inch square of the red, which will do you, but how many backs did you say that will do you? 6. 6 wings for the in the red.
You'll get your 6 out of there.
You get the white, which you can get your little bumblebee wings from, and you get 2 of the yellow in order to do the backs of the bumblebees, and you cut strips. And then the choices, so you get that in all of the bundles, but the choices you're going to get, as well as that magnetic clasp. So your choices are the blue stripe. So this is the navy stripe, that's choice 1. So it's 1 metre of that. So that's enough to make the bag front, the bag back, the lining and the handles. Or you can have this blue spot, which actually is the most popular at the moment, and that's the one we've got the sample that Rebecca's previously made in. Or you can have the red stripe, and you can do exactly as Rebecca's doing and mix up the stripes to really make it great. Don't have to if you don't want to. Or you can have the yellow spot. So that's your sort of 4 colourway choices, but everything else is in the same in all of the kits. And of course the instructions are in the book. So you do need to get this book if you want the instructions, the measurements, the templates, etc. Templates are in the back, and I believe they are 100%. So all you need to do, yes, actual size templates. So all you need to do is trace them off. It's a great book for beginners, 22 projects in here. So there's lots and lots to go through. Oh, we've had a picture. Let's have a look at this picture. Here's my Tic Tac Toe. Look at that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, it's made for great nieces. How lovely. So great nieces Connie and Ada. They love it, and it's very easy to make. I put a stitch in everything as they are 2 and 3. Absolutely, I agree. That was a good idea. Thank you, Jane. That's great. It is cute. I think it's a brilliant idea.
I like that colour combination. I
I
like the
do
black.
as well. That's a lovely combination.
Yeah.
So, so you have put your strip across and joined those. Yeah.
So I've joined all my 9 squares together now, and what I'm doing now is just putting the border on that runs around. So do top and bottom, and stitch those on.
So that border is obviously wider, isn't it? Because it's going to fold over, isn't it? So
and then
you've got to lose 2 lots of seam allowances, and
yes,
yes,
yeah.
So Alison has said she's always on the lookout for Christmas presents. This would make a great Christmas present, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
It really would.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it's not just for outside, is it, at all?
No, not at all.
No.
No, it's not. And it'd be easy to store away. I just love the way it's portable, doesn't require any electricity or power, once it's made, of course. Doesn't require any electricity or power. You're not looking at a screen.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's good to get your children off a screen, isn't it?
And it's an easy game to play from all ages, isn't it? I mean, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because the only way you can win, unless you... is the other person loses. Yeah, there is that too. It's pretty much if you go first as well, but we won't say that. But it's just good fun, and it's nice and easy, and even little hands can handle these quite easily and place them where they need to. So I think it's brilliant. I think it's a lovely idea. One of many lovely ideas in that book. I'm fascinated having this Facebook Live. So do please ask questions and things, because I love it. I love the fact we've got all of these little comments and things. And Rebecca's going to be back again at 11 o'clock when she is going to make elements of, because unfortunately the whole dress can't be made in an hour, of the little Simplicity dress here, which is very, very cute.
It's very cute.
Isn't it lovely? And
I know.
It's quite an easy fit dress as well, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's got a lovely gathered neckline and sleeves. And of course you can make the little hat, because that's in the pattern as well. Get a little sun hat. Very lovely. Easy wear dress. And if you saw those flamingo fabrics that we were looking at earlier, they would be perfect. So that's, all of that is like, because you can pre-order that, can't you, Kat? It's all on the website already, yes. So you can already pre-order that. Does the pattern come in 2 size ranges, I believe? Does it? Or is it a different pattern? Or is it all sizes in one pattern? Oh, okay, so all sizes are in one pattern. That's handy. And I will tell you what the size range is and everything when we get to that one. Okay, so we're just putting you're putting the side borders on now.
These ones on, yeah.
So no worries about mitering corners. Those ones go across. They go across the previous borders.
Yeah. So do your either end first, and then come back and do, because you're just going to go straight across.
So that's a nice quick way of putting borders on.
Yeah. You haven't got to worry about mitered edges or
exactly.
anything like that.
Ooh.
I want to get on to showing how to put that clasp on as well, because
because we've only got 5 minutes left.
Right,
so
okay,
if you could show that next, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, okay.
I want to just say what a message I've just got here. Derek has said you could do a Santa and a Rudolph, or an angel and a star, or a Christmas tree and a star to make it a Christmas version.
Yeah.
Well done, Derek. Great idea, that.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
It's all right, I did get the spelling mistake. I do that all the time. I text badly, and then when I send the text and then reread it, I realise there's all sorts of typos in it. And sometimes it's where it's auto-corrected, and sometimes it's where my fingers have pressed the wrong key. I do a lot of I's instead of O's.
So what I'll do is that's how it finishes.
Yep,
so
lovely.
So you've got that square there. So but what I want to do is show you how to get this clasp on.
Yes, because although it's super easy, people do get a bit concerned because you're cutting into fabric.
Yeah, most definitely. So find your middle. So just put a little pin in there. Find the middle. And you measure down 1.5 inches. I've got my little, let's put a little mark in there.
So this all says all this in the book.
Yes,
in the pattern.
it's very clearly.
Yeah.
I marked it there. It's very, very clearly marked in the book. So again, let me get the middle on that one. Okay, mark down.
So this is the lining, isn't it?
This is your lining, yeah. So get your little clasp.
And don't forget this clasp comes in the kit.
Yeah.
And there's sort of 4 parts to it, isn't there?
So they're almost like little washers.
Yes.
That you use. So with you're 1.5 inches down there. So position your little clasp, and then.
So you're positioning the washer?
Yeah, the washer. So, and just make a little mark with pencil or, pencil works quite well because you can get right into the...
So the little washer's got 2 holes, so you're making a mark through the holes, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going to cut. So you're doing it from the right side of the fabric.
Yeah. There we go. And then very carefully, what I do, I fold the fabric over like that and then do a little snip.
So you're folding it sort of so it's halfway between your little marks.
And just doing a
tiny snip.
Little snip like so. And again on that one.
So this is when you do need, in fact, I know you're using big scissors probably because you haven't got your little ones with you, but I would use embroidery scissors here.
Yes, yeah.
So nice little sharp scissors.
like so. And then back it as well, which Debbie says about in here, just to reinforce it.
What I normally use is I either use a couple of layers of interfacing or a little bit of wadding.
Yeah.
Just to give it some support behind the magnetic clasp.
So again, just cut that as well. And then what you're going to do, you'll pop that through, so it should just fit through like that. Place your washer on, and then a little bit of spare fabric. And then it's very easy, just push them back with your thumbs.
Do you always go outwards?
Like that.
I do, but
Yes.
yes. Otherwise
Yeah.
they'll overlap, won't they?
Yes.
And do you know what? I normally put the wadding before I put the washer on.
Yeah.
No, the other, yeah. Put the wadding on, or
That bit first.
The fabric first. Yeah.
Yeah. Just make some marks in there.
Oh, I hope you can't hear this, but my stomach is rumbling. Making all sorts of
So
noises.
mine will join you in a minute.
I don't know, my mic's not picking up all this rumbling going on. Oh, there's a Wendy watching. Hello, Wendy Chapman. There's a few of us around.
So yeah, just push that out. There you go. And then voila, joined together.
Yeah, and
So
it
it's
doesn't
nice
matter
and
which one
easy.
you put on which. It's just on the right side
Yes.
is the clasp, and
Yeah.
the washer goes on the wrong
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. So just make sure you've got that little bit of fabric just to
little
reinforce
fabric, bit of
it.
wadding, interfacing,
Especially with
something.
little hands that'll be doing
Yes,
that
yeah,
all the
absolutely.
time. So yeah, just make sure that you've got a little bit of reinforcement there to.
That's brilliant. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, so I didn't get round to doing the
No, that's okay.
straps
So
and- yeah.
you've got an hour before you come back.
Yeah.
I expect to see it finished.
Okay.
No, I don't.
No
really.
pressure. No pressure.
She's allowed to relax. I don't really mean that. I'm lying. So do have a look on the website for all of the bundles. Don't forget there are 4 different choices of bundles. They've got everything you need to create the bag and the bumblebees. Apart from, obviously, you won't have the instructions. You need to buy the book for that. You will also need glue if you're going to glue the pieces, and you will also need interfacing. So they're the sort of 2 extra things that you need, or 3 if you count the book as well. So after the break, we are joined by Rebecca Reid. Do we call her Rebecca? Rebecca, good, lovely. Rebecca Reid, you'll all know her. She is making these, perfect for my garden, pots with tulips. Look at these. So you can get this lovely idea to have, which will brighten the room all year round. You don't have to water them. They won't die. They won't droop. Perfect. So she's going to join us in just a few minutes after the break. So keep watching.
In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 AM to 1 PM every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 PM every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 PM to 1 PM. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on. So you never have to spend a minute without us.
Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites, sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433, and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay 1 postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
to see me back. My favourite piece of kit with the sewing is the seam ripper. Hello, I'm Janice from Birmingham. I specialise in dressmaking. I used to run a children's shop and I love making children's clothes. My mother encouraged me to sew from an early age. When we were young, we did dressmaking in school. My claim to fame was the sewing quarter, but I'm now making also jumpsuits for ladies and men of all shapes and sizes, and it seems to be going for the festivals around the country. See you on the show!
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day. Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again. If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Look how pretty it all is here. Look at this. So this is what we're going to do for this hour. I'm joined by Rebecca Reid, who you all know and love, I'm absolutely sure, with another long-awaited Amber Makes make. And what we have here is we have a pattern and a printed panel. And Rebecca's going to show us how. We've got two different colourways. So let's first look at the printed pattern. So this is what you're going to get. And look at the glorious colours of this. So you're going to get this, and you can choose whether you do them in this colours or whether you do them in the pinks here. And you do the pot and everything as well, and the soil. Inside, nice and easy to follow, step-by-step instructions, all pursed down. You've got more instructions than usual, Kat's telling me?
Yeah, there's a lot of different elements to this. So
so
there's
you've
more
lots of
pages.
learning,
We've got
lots
8
of
pages
things.
in these instructions because there's lots of different elements to do.
All
So-
nice and clear, nice photographs to show you how to put it together. Not only the flowers, but the flower pot as well. So it's all nice, making the small one. All these lovely little flowers, look at these. So cute. So you'll get this, and this will make both sizes, the small and the large one. You just pick your colourway. So the choices you have got, let's open up. Can I open this one first? Okay, so it's a lovely quality fabric, this. I just love these printed panels, huge printed panel. So look at this printed panel. So you've got your pot. I love the fact you've got labels as well.
Well, you can
That's always
personalise them,
nice.
you can
yeah,
sew
you're
them
giving
on.
them for somebody.
Yeah, or you can put your name on, or
Yes.
there's so many on there, you can use them for other makes as well.
It's really nice. This is a terracotta. This is the one
Yes.
I've got on the front in front of me here. So this is, it's got loads of labels actually. You've got
There's
plenty
loads
of
of
other
labels.
things. This is the one that's most popular on pre-order.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, just
I don't know which one I like the best. Couldn't
I
decide.
know.
Couldn't
It's hard to
decide.
tell actually.
Yeah.
I think I like them both. So that's the thing. Both $19.99 for each. So this is what you get here. Look. Oh, where do you put this bit?
Oh, that's the special template. A special template.
Special template. So you've got the leaves. So you've got the big ones and the little ones. You've got the flower bits. You've got the soil.
Soil.
You've
Very
got the
important,
soil.
soil.
The plant pot bottoms.
With holes.
And some labels, and I love with holes. Because you have a hole in the plant pot bottom. And I love the flowers. I love the way the colours on the flowers here are really gorgeous. So they just look stunning and really effective and just so natural. This is what I'm going to have in my garden. So that's the first panel. This is terracotta parcel, and it's got the pink and the blue and the purple flowers. I'm not going to fold it up brilliantly. I have just sanitised my hands so I can now pass it to you,
Okay, thank you very much.
because I know you wanted
You
to
can
have one by the
keep
side.
the other one. I need one.
I'll keep this one here. So this is, yes, it's like it is, as you say, it's difficult to tell which is your favourite
It's whether
because
you like blue pots or
so
terracotta
this is
pots.
just half of the panel. I'm going to show you this half. Look at these gorgeous flower colours. Love them. Ooh, they're the stems. I
They're
like
the
those
stems
too,
with
yes.
stamens.
They're lovely, aren't they? Look at those with the stamens on the top. And again, you've got this cheeky panel here. And then if I flip over, instead of terracotta pots, we've got this blue. I like this. This is lovely. So these look like blue and white china pots, don't they? And again, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 5, 6 labels. And you're only making 2 pots, so you've got some cheeky spare
Well, it's
labels
to
there, haven't
it's
you?
to fill the space. We don't want to
is.
have any spare fabric.
But you can use them for other projects, can't
Yeah,
you?
keep them
Absolutely
and use them for
other
other projects.
So make a flower pot. Oh, you've called this a doorstop.
It is a doorstop.
Ah,
yeah, it's a
'cause
doorstop.
Oh, I was just thinking in my garden.
No, it's a doorstop.
I'm thinking
and then
this is going to be coming in the
the
garden.
mini one's just an ornament.
I think they're gorgeous.
But
What
they
a
are.
lovely
It is a
idea
doorstop.
of a doorstop.
It is a doorstop. Why
That is
not?
a line.
I'll
It's
have
a
flower-
great idea. Have a flower pot. Where did the idea come from?
Well, I'm rubbish at gardening. Everything I
Well,
have
that's so nice.
dies,
This is
and
why I'm thinking
I buy
gardens.
lots of fake plants. So I thought, well, let's just make some. But I really struggled with working out the flower pot. So I have to give a big thank you to Freddie, my youngest son, because he worked out the pattern for me for the flower
did
pot.
he?
Yes.
How old is Freddie?
He's 18 and he's doing a maths degree, so he knows what he's doing. And what I hadn't realised when you do the flower pot, I thought it would just have straight sides, but it's actually part of a cone. It's called a frustrum, which is the tops. There's a cone with the top cut off, and there's very specific maths to work out the height of it and then the curve of it, and I just couldn't do it. So over Christmas, this is when I started doing this. I said to Freddie, "Can you work this out for me?"
And nobody else has to do that because he's already done
And
it.
he worked it all
printed.
out for me. I said, "This is what I want the top circumference to be, and the bottom, and the height of it." And I couldn't work it out. I didn't realise it had to be curved for some reason. I thought it just had to be straight, but it has to be that shape. in
No,
order
if it
for
was
to work.
straight, it would be a cylinder, wouldn't it?
Yes,
But
which
you
is what
want
the
it to-
first one looked
You
like.
want it to go like that.
So he worked it all out for me. So thank goodness and thank you, Freddie.
Thank you for Freddie.
Freddie and his wonderful
He's
maths.
helped us all because we haven't got to do that maths.
No, it's all
done for
printed,
you.
all the seam allowances are on there, so you don't have to do
So you
any.
haven't got to add any seam
no thinking.
allowances. What is the seam allowance?
1 centimetre.
That's not really. So on my machine, my needle in default is 1 centimetre from the edge of my presser foot. Makes it
Okay.
ever so easy for me to do a centimetre seam.
But you could use 3/8 of an inch, it will still work.
Yeah,
Actually.
So
But I
again,
mean,
what we
I've
were
just
saying
done it
earlier
in
is just be
metric.
consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just be consistent, but I've done it as a centimetre. But it all works, and all the seam allowances are in there because he's worked it all out for me. I have made a lot of flower pots and flowers and thrown a lot out.
When you were doing your
Loads
your-
and
your
loads. I've got
trial.
lots of flowers
well,
hanging around the
This is the thing,
house.
you know, when you're designing a project and you're designing something like this, it's 3D. There's a lot of preparation in the design.
Oh, well, it
trial
took a
and
long
error.
time, and then obviously I make it all up in just random fabric, many of them, and then I give it to Amy, who's the other part of Amber Makes, and with very rough notes. I want this to sort of look like sort of this, and then she comes back with these amazing panels because I had no idea how the flowers were going to look. I said, I don't know whether should the flowers be spotty or checked or whatever, and she came up with this amazing. I mean, the
It's
print is
beautiful.
beautiful.
They're absolutely beautiful, aren't they? So is she an artist?
Yeah,
then?
she's
So
a surface pattern designer. She's really amazingly talented.
Yeah.
And she'd worked it out. So actually, when you make the flowers, because the flowers have inner petals and outer petals, because of the way that she's done the design, when you make them and you gather them, they look like real flowers.
Yes.
And she even did the soil. The soil is my favourite part because it actually looks like soil.
It looks like a
I
photograph
think
of soil. That
soil
is,
was
yes.
incredible. And, you know, the fact that the leaves actually look like leaves and the stems have got, you know,
Yes.
they're not just plain green.
No.
So there's a
They've-
lot
They've
of,
got some colour.
I have to say, of all of our kits, this one's probably had quite a lot of time spent on it to just get it.
Well, I
so it
think
works.
that has proved to be worthwhile because it is absolutely gorgeous, and I love the way you've taken everything out of it. You've got small leaf, small leaf, small leaf. You're not going to get it wrong.
No, everything is labelled, so it's really simple to do. And this is why I made so many flowers and so many flower pots. I want it so it's easy for people, so they can create something that looks complicated, but it actually isn't. So
Yes.
I worked out there was many ways I could have done it, and I thought, no, it needs to be easy.
Yes, I absolutely agree. That's really lovely. So that means this is suitable for anybody.
Yes,
Anybody
yeah.
can have a go at doing this.
It takes time. But
Yes,
as long as you
yeah.
work through each section,
Yeah.
it's fine. And I also didn't want you to have lots of other materials, so I didn't want to have sticks or anything. There's no sticks to hold up the stems.
So, okay, so you're going to tell us how to
Yes,
put those...
they're just super stuffed. So
Super
all you
stuffed?
need for this is some stuffing.
Right, so we have got stuffing on the website as well.
filling.
So we've got the filling
And a
we've
bit of
got
wadding. A bit of wadding helps the flower pot. And then obviously you need something to weight it. I've put in stones for my garden path.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, which is why they're quite heavy.
Yes, but you could use lentils,
Lentils,
or dried rice.
yeah, chickpeas,
Yes.
gravel, fish tank gravel I think is quite good.
Okay,
But I
fish-
use gravel
yeah.
for my path. And I did weight the little one only because it stands up better, but
Yes.
it's not a doorstop, so it doesn't have to be. But that, you
No,
know.
but I think you're right. Because it is cloth, it is fabric.
Yeah.
It'll make it stand better
And
on
all
its
you have
base,
to do
won't
is
it?
put, I put the gravel in just a small plastic bag, but you could put it in like you need to put it in something so it doesn't all escape.
Yes, yeah, and you'll put
It
it in a
is actually-
sandwich bag.
But it is actually, yeah, just gravel off my garden path,
Yeah.
as you can hear. See? And you can then arrange your flowers, and you can change whether you have all the leaves go up or you can bend them over. You
Yes.
can choose what they look like. It's up to you.
So we have a message here from Laurie. Hi Rebecca, love the flowers. I like both, but got the lavender covers to go with my lounge. And then she's
Aw.
put lots of emojis on there.
Oh, that's nice. And it
Hugs
was
and
difficult
kisses.
choosing the colours of the flowers. But
I don't know which is my favourite because I like the pots on that one.
well, you can't. Yeah, so you can't really see very clearly the pots there. If when you get close, you'll see it looks like cracked. The china looks like it's sort of a cracked
Yes,
blue
so
and
it's
white
got
china.
sort of that real kind of antique.
So they are they're real, and then I like the fact that she's done the bottoms with holes in. I think that's really nice.
And then these ones are beautiful. We've got less than 100 of the lilac flowers left. So bear that in mind when you're watching Rebecca's demo. It was only added to the stock this morning, and of course it is there. So do you want to crack
Yes,
on?
I shall show you where you start. So first of all, get your panel. I'm going to move my machine out of the way and open it all out. Now, if you look at it really carefully, you will see that everything is labelled, every single thing, which means there's a lot of words on it. So the first thing you need to do is cut out every single piece. Remember, the seam allowance is in here, so you haven't got to add it on. And then when you cut out each piece, cut the label off the top and pin it onto the piece. And then you can be absolutely sure, because although you think you might remember, you won't, because when I got to the end, I couldn't remember. Also, the way that the flowers work, there are 5 flowers, so there are outer petals, and there are 2 pieces for the outer petals. So outer petals 1, outer petals 1, and then inner petals 1, inner petals 1, and you need to put the right inner petals with the right outer petals. If you mix it up, it doesn't matter too much, because obviously you'll have slightly different inners, but that's why if you just cut the little label off the top and pin it to the centre before you start, then you can be sure that you've got all the right pieces. So that takes time, but it's quite a nice process.
So you've got 5 flowers in each pot?
Yes, and each flower has 2 outer petal pieces and 2 inner petal pieces.
So you don't see any one. Can you see?
Because they're lined, so you.
Oh yes, you
it's
can
because
look.
they're lined. Well,
Because
as in they're right sides together.
Yes, right sides together. Yeah. So you've got no sort of just white fabric, and I do love the fact you've got in the centre.
And then you've got
a little stamen.
The stamen
which sticks up through the
is
centre.
actually printed on there. Yes. So the way
that is so cute.
Once we do the outer petals and the inner petals, I'll show you how to do that. That will make sense.
So has the panel got the little one on it as well?
Yeah, there's all of it.
Oh, the little ones over there.
Yeah, the little ones are rectangles. They're made in a different way
okay.
because I made them in the same way as the bigger ones, and they were really fiddly, which is fine, but I just thought that might really put people off because the curve on them was so small and fiddly, it was quite tricky to sew. So I changed the design of those so they look more like tulips.
So they've got more like buds or tulips, yes.
So the big one, I'm not very good at flowers. They are, I don't know what they are. They're just flowers. And then the little ones I think are tulips. But I'm not very good at flowers. So, but they
you and me both.
Originally, they were going to be the same, and then I realised that they would be too difficult.
Yes.
And
you want this to be a nice, simple project to make,
fun project. To learn things as you go along. So just, I mean, some things are obvious. It's obvious that that's the flower pot top, and that's the big one and the small one. But if you label them as you go on, and then when you look at the panel, there are lots of other little bits and pieces because Amy always does it without any space, so she's just put like there's little irises here and labels, so you can use those for other things.
Exactly, you
could sew them on the side or put them on other mates.
What's the plan for the big circular one? Not the pot.
Oh right, yes. Well, I'm going to show you that in a minute.
Right, okay.
In a minute. So
I'll be patient.
Right, yes, because you needed a circular template, so I could have put that in the instructions and printed a circle, but I thought actually it's easier to use the template if it's made from fabric, and then you can have it afterwards. So Amy put flowers in the middle, and then you can use them for something else.
Yes.
But you don't actually. It's like not used in the pot, but you need the template.
Yeah, you could make quite a nice little pincushion.
So you start off with the soil. Now this was another thing that took a while. Is that if I get the pot, you can see. With the soil, the only way to get the flowers in is I needed holes in the soil. But I didn't want to cut holes because then they would fray. So I thought, well, I could do a blanket stitch around them, but then, that's fiddly. So the soil is made from 4 separate pieces.
Ah, okay.
This is why you can see was why it took so long. So, and the best way to do that is have 4 pieces, you join them together and you leave holes. So that was this why. And I'm going to show you that bit first. So you've cut out all of your pieces. I'll put that over there.
So, really, this is $19.99 for this panel and the leaflet, but there's so much design that's gone into
There are a lot
that.
of mistakes and
Should be $1,099.
Lots of things. So the 2 flower pots are made in exactly the same way. It's just the flowers that are slightly different. So and in the instructions, I start off with the doorstop and show you how to make it, and then I go through to the small one and say this bit's the same. Some of the measurements are slightly different, but I tell you that in there. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So you've cut out. They see there's one of your labels, which I pinned on. Although I know that's that, but I just wanted to. So I'd show you. I pinned it on. You take your 4 pieces of soil. Now this is the doorstop one because I thought it'd be easier to show you with the bigger one. I love these because they actually look like soil. I don't know how she did this, whether she took a photo of some soil, maybe.
So it looks like, doesn't it?
I don't know how she did that. So what you do is take 2 of the pieces and put them right sides together. They're squares, so it doesn't matter which way round you go because they're exact squares. Now, this is where you need to start marking and measuring. Oh, this is where I realise I've got a pen.
There was a friction pen there. Has it been moved off?
Yes, it's probably. Oh no, there it is. There it is.
I've got a regular pen.
No, there it is. Right. Then what you do, get a tape measure. So I know this sounds a bit fiddly, but really it is the only way to do it. And you just mark along here 4 centimetres, and then 3 centimetres, like that. Is that right? Yeah, 4 and I'm just making sure I've got the right one. 4 and then 3. Yeah. 4. Oh, this is a weird tape measure. 4 and 3 and 4. Right. So you mark those on there, and then you do the same thing on the other one. Right. So mark 4 and then 3, and then you'll have 4 centimetres the other side. So that gap there is the hole. It does say all this in the instructions, so don't worry.
Yeah, you haven't got to remember these measurements
You haven't
or
got to
anything.
remember it. And then you use your 1 centimetre seam allowance, and you sew. Oops, there's my thinking, right. It's really important to reverse stitch at the beginning because these have got to stay together. Go a bit slowly. When you get to the mark that you've marked, reverse stitch, and then cut it off. And then go along to, start at the next mark, make sure your needle is in the mark, because that measurement I've worked out means that that will fit your stem. So it's important to do that.
You don't want it to be bigger because
No.
then it will flop about, won't it?
It's a tiny bit bigger so that you can get it in, but it's the right size. I did fiddle about with it a lot, but it's the right size so that you can actually get the stem in, but then have enough to be able to sew it in afterwards. And then leave that little gap, but all of the measurements are on the instructions, so as long as you follow this. So none of it is difficult, it's just that there's a little process to follow with everything to get it right. Right, then this is important. If you don't like pressing, you will need to press this.
Yeah, you're going to need to press those open, aren't you?
Yeah, so you don't need to sew, top stitch them down. They will stay down. Because I did try that, but it was fine actually. Because you're then sewing the other way, they all stay down. So you need to press that side and press that side. So you can't see the gaps because the way that Amy's designed the soil, it all sort of, because I said to it, because I explained that this is all going to be joined together, because she's done it as sort of a random pattern, when you join it together, it just still looks like soil. It doesn't look like 4 pieces.
No, I mean, I didn't realise until you said, and then I've looked closely.
Right, so now you've got your 2. It doesn't matter which way because you've got 4 centimetres either side of that 3 centimetre gap. You put them together, make sure that the seams match. If you just lift one up and roll it back down, you can be sure it matches. Pin it together in the centre. That's important because we're going to have a hole, because we've got to have 5 holes. So there's 1, we've done 2 holes so far. And we're going to do another 5. Now let me just get my measurements right. 3.5. It might sound a bit complicated.
But it's all in your instructions,
It's all
as
there.
you say, isn't it?
It's all there. So 3.5. 3.
So the most popular at the moment is blue flowers. So come along.
2.
Yeah, will it change? Do we want to go orange with the lovely ceramic pots, or so? It's over half the stock of the blue flowers has already gone.
Oh wow.
So yes, be careful. If you've got it in the basket, you might want to check out to ensure you definitely get it.
3.
Oh, Yvette's messaged in. Just bought the blue one to make for my mum-in-law's birthday. Oh, she'll love it. It's in June. She'll be 88 and she loves blue china. She will love it then.
She will.
And no watering. Yes, you see, no watering. Lasts forever. It's ideal. Absolutely agree. My perfect kind of flower.
It will, yes, it will last forever.
My
Oh,
son bought me a pot
Look what
plant
I've
for
done.
Christmas as part of my Christmas present, which I managed to kill within a week. He bought me one that didn't need much watering, only I'd missed that bit of advice. And I watered it too often, so it rotted and was dead. And then for my birthday, he bought me another plant, and my heart sunk a little. I thought, oh no, another one I'm going to have to try and keep alive. But it wasn't. It was a fake one. It was a very good quality fake one. Oh, thank goodness.
oh, that's good.
I can't kill it.
Gosh, no, I've just seen, no, you need to follow these instructions properly. I've just pinned mine together and realised I didn't pin them right sides together. So good job I didn't. I noticed that before I
checked it.
before I
Quite
sewed
nice,
it. I didn't, and I did that strangely with the first one. So you do the measurements again. Now the central measurement goes across the centre seam. So that's the centre one. And then, what's it? 2 and then 3. So just follow the measurements.
Follow the measurements
that
on
it
the
says,
pattern, yeah.
and then it will work. And then 2, and then 3.
So the little hole you're leaving each time is...
Yeah, so
how- sort of-
basically that's how it works.
Yeah.
So you sew from the outside.
I love that though, the fact that you, in order to work out how best to do this, you know, you're sort of working out all the different permutations. Do I cut holes in it, blanket stitch around
I know,
it?
well,
do
I
I
thought
do
of-
this, do I do that?
Because it's quite often with these things, if I was making it just for myself, I'd probably do it in a much more sort of random, cobbled together way. But because this has got to work so that, you know, the people can follow it, how else do you get the flowers in the soil? Because if I'd sewn them just to the top of the soil, then they would have fallen over.
They would have fallen over,
because they
yes.
actually go into the soil by about 8 centimetres.
Yes.
So, and I tried that as well. How far do they need to go
Yes.
into the soil?
So you don't realise how much goes into the development of this. Amanda has just said she's got both of them.
Oh,
But
well,
and she's looking forward to making them up. But what she's saying is she might put the blue flowers with the blue pot.
well, you can, but
Which of course you
also
can.
if you want to as well, because the templates are obviously on there. If you wanted to do a different colour flower and you've got other fabric, you could just cut those out and put them onto other fabric and cut around them.
Yes.
So if you
absolutely.
decided, actually, I've got some really nice fabric that I would
Yeah,
like
some
to
of the
make one
batiks
flower
and
on.
things that we've had on. And
You could use them then. Obviously, there's no templates because everything's done for you. But if you wanted to swap one of the flowers for something else of your own fabric, cut out the flower and then cut round
so
it.
once you, yes, exactly.
So now I've
Once you've
got
your panel.
my soil, and it's got 5 holes in it. So it's got one there, the centre hole, and there and there. Now this is where your circle comes in. Doorstop flower pot soil template. Need that. So what you do is, now I could have done this with a piece of paper, but I like cutting around fabric. It's easier. You can do it by eye or measure it. Make sure that that is in the middle of your soil, like that. Because the other thing was, I thought, if I gave you 4 quarter circles to join together and put holes in, I think that would be really hard to match up at the edges.
Yes,
And also,
yes.
I made the soil pieces bigger than you need because it's easier. If when you sewed it, you know, and you pressed it and it wasn't quite right, it wouldn't fit exactly. So that's why the template is bigger. And then
There's
all
all
you
these
have,
lovely measurements, thanks to
all you have to
Freddie.
do. And then you obviously have a circle left over, but you could do whatever you like with that circle.
Oh, that makes, I mean, where you've just put it on there makes a lovely applique.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Just do some satin stitching around the outside.
But I just think it's often easier to cut round fabric than templates, isn't it? And also, I know a lot of people don't want to cut out their instructions and then they'd have to trace it. So you have a bit of soil left over that you don't
But
need.
now I can mention my light box again. You've given me the opportunity. So rather than cut out your book on your pattern from
Yeah.
your thing, you can use your light box.
Use your
to
light box,
transfer it.
indeed. I use
See,
my light box
every
all
opportunity.
for designing all the time. So now there's your soil that will be on the top of your plant pot. So it's fairly simple. Obviously, you've got to follow the measurements and draw it down and, you know, make sure you reverse stitch either side. But we've now got holes to put, but you
Ready
can't
to-
really see them,
No, not at all.
which works quite well. That's the soil. The next thing you need to do is the flower pot, because we're going to do the whole flower pot to start with. What I did when I cut my flower pots out, I've done this bit in advance, is I put wadding on the back of the flower pot sides and the base, just because you're going to stuff it quite hard. You may have gravel or something really heavy in it. It just gives it a little bit of substance.
So what wadding have you used?
I've just used an 80-20 cotton wadding only because that's what I had.
Yes.
But you can use just a polyester wadding. It doesn't have to be any
Doesn't
great.
matter really,
No,
'cause
not
it's gonna be
really.
inside
It's just to
and-
give it a little bit of structure and strength. You don't have to use wadding. You could put interfacing, but I just think it gives it a little bit more body.
Yes.
And then what I did is, you can see actually that this is how we end up developing the designs, that this pot that I did, this is one of the original ones, is slightly different to this. Is I quilted along the lines. Oh, you've got the blue one, haven't you? So on
yes.
on the terracotta one, you can see that there's a line on here, and that's the rim that
That's
was
the rim
top
of the pot,
of the pot.
isn't it?
And if you look at your
On this one,
blue
it's
and
got a
white
sort
one,
of shadow.
yes, and after we had done these, I said to
Yeah.
Amy, oh, we need, the top of the pot needs to be a bit darker so it looks like a rim. So the panel you'll get will have that nice dark,
that
the
darker
nice
bit going
but
across there.
this is my sort of prototype version 35 or something, didn't have the darker rim. But what you can do, and I did with mine, is if you once you've put the wadding onto it, before you assemble it, if you quilt or sew along that line, it will just make the rim stand out. So you can see on this
Yes.
one, I've done it.
Did you use a twin needle?
No, I just did
Did
it
it
twice. And the same on that one as well. But the line and this shadow is printed onto here, so you haven't got to work that out. But it just makes it stand out a bit more. So once you've quilted the rimmy bit, you sew the pot ends right sides together, and then you end up with this shape, which is really clever, that I couldn't work out. This cone that's got
It's
to be...
It's a proper pot shape.
The frustrum, it's got to be wider at the top than at the bottom. Then what you do is, I actually quilted around the little circle hole as well, but you could sew around all the patterns if you wanted to add more detail to it. At this stage, if you wanted to put a label on it or sew something else, or if you wanted to personalise it, put happy birthday or embroider someone's name on, all of that.
Yeah, so you've got these lovely labels that you can do.
But
that
if you
with
know,
as
if you
well.
might want to put somebody's name on it, or the name of the
Yes,
house,
yes.
or if you were given it as maybe a housewarming gift, but do that at this stage. And then you sew the bottom in, and the best way to do that, you sew the bottom in exactly the same way as the top of the soil, so I'll show you that. When you sew this, leave a hole, because that's where we're going to stuff it.
Okay, so you're going to put the top on completely.
Yes, because it's really hard to hand sew a curve back on, but it's
Beautiful
quite
curve, yeah.
easy to hand sew a straight. So when you've done this, tack this down, because you're going to be stuffing through this hole and it starts coming undone. So I'll show you on the inside. If you tack the hole down, it's a lot easier when you stuff. So the bottom is sewn on in exactly the same way as the top. I just wanted to get ahead. So take the seam and fold it over all in half and put a pin at that end. There we go. Then take the seam and put it at that pin, like I've even marked mine before, and put one at that end and one at that end. You've now got your pot divided into quarters. When you do the base circle, you'll need to do the same thing and divide it into quarters. With the soil, you don't need to, because you've got your seams at your 4 quarters. But if it was the circular base, you'd fold it in half, mark them, because it's easier to put a circle into a straight if you've divided it into quarters. Now what you do, because this is, well, it's a slightly curved edge, but it's straight in effect, to get it to bend round nicely and to fit, the seam allowance is 1 centimetre, so you'd need to make little snips all the way around the edge, about 1 centimetre apart, but just less than 1 centimetre deep, because you don't want these to be in the seam allowance. But by doing this, it just gives you it gives it flexibility so you can fit it.
What if you cut it with pinking shears?
Well, you could, but then you'll lose. I wouldn't, because you'll lose some of the seam allowance.
Would you? I was
Yeah.
thinking rather than
Because
doing,
it's
the
really
snips.
no, because it's really important that all the calculations have been worked out so that this 1 centimetre seam allowance will fit
Fit
with
to that
that,
1 centimetre
unless
seam
you were
allowance.
absolutely certain. But then your seam allowance would be less. It won't.
Yes,
it won't
you
work.
would- yeah.
So
No,
it's,
so you're better to
for
do the little
most
snips.
things, if you're doing that, that's fine. But because this has been worked out, it's best to do those little snips. Also, with pinking shears, you won't get as big a gap
snip
to
yeah.
do it. So all you have to do next, I'm not going to say the whole thing in, is match all of your quarter points first and put your pins in vertically, because it will help you to ease round. Match that quarter point to that quarter point. You can make marks with pencils, or you can leave your pins in, it's up to you. I leave the pins in because I can then use them for the quarter pinnings. Once you've done that, you then pin between them. So, because this will ease round, first of all, before I pin it, I make sure that it's going to ease. And you always get to one point, you think, oh, that's a bit more, but look, it will fit. If you'd cut that with pinking shears, it wouldn't
It
open
might
enough.
not fit enough, yeah.
So I sort of pull it, because it's only a short distance, and then put a pin in the centre, and then place pins By placing them vertically, you can curve it more. If you place them horizontally, you're losing the curve. You can't stretch it as much. So do that all the way round, like so, and then you sew it together all the way round. And then you turn it right sides out. I'm not going to do that because I want to show you the flowers. You turn it right sides out through the hole you've left, and then you have a complete flower pot. I'll show you very briefly what it would look like if you've actually sewn it all together. But
So we've got less than 50 of each of these colourways now. They're neck and neck.
Neck and neck. Well,
so who's going to win?
I
Orange
couldn't decide.
Or pink?
Well, the terracotta was the original one. That was the one that I always wanted to do. I wanted it to look like a doorstop, a flower pot in my house that was exactly like a real one.
Yes.
But then I wanted to do another one, and I think I said to Amy, I don't know what to do with the other one. Maybe blue, maybe, and that's what she came up with. So. This is the great thing, is because usually I get stuck and I have no idea, and then Amy takes over and comes up with a fab idea.
Well, that's what good partnerships about,
isn't it? Yes. So that's what once it's all sewn together, that's what your pot will look like, and obviously you will have sewn it all the way around, and that's yours. So then you put that to one side because we don't need that anymore. We're not going to stuff it. We do that later. Next, you need to make stems and leaves. Stems and leaves. Let me get my next page, number 2. So stems, I've got lots of stems here, just because I wanted to show you as much of this as I could without having to actually sew it all. So the stems are, let me move that out of the way, you can probably see better. They've already, on this doorstop flower pot, they have stamens printed onto them, these yellow bits on the ends. These small ones don't, because they're different flowers. So they're already printed on, so you don't need to worry about that. You turn the bottom edge of each one over by 1 centimetre to the wrong side, because when you turn it right sides out, rather than, if you make a tube and you turn it right sides out, it's quite hard because it's quite a small tube to turn it that 1 centimetre inside. It's quite fiddly, but if you turn them over and sew them in, it works better. So sew all the way around the edge. This way is important, you follow the instructions. This has got a 5mm seam allowance. Everything else is, except for the leaves, has got 1 centimetre, but here and there the seam allowance changes a bit, so please
Just
read the instructions.
Yeah.
It does say right at the beginning, this is a 5mm, so make sure, otherwise your stem won't work. And then you turn it right sides out. That's what you get when you've turned it right sides out.
Now, a new tool to do that. Have you seen the prim?
Yes, well, I've got one
tools?
of those, but we don't have any in stock.
Oh, because I know we have. I know we sell them. Because they're
if
brilliant.
you ever do have one, this is one of my favourite things in the whole world, and we do have them in stock sometimes, and I have one here. I'm going to show you how you do it. If you just turn it right sides out, but if you haven't, this is the special prim turning tool. This is just magic.
If you haven't got one, you can use chopstick.
Yeah, cocktail stick.
Chopstick does
but
it.
this is just brilliant. So you just push that in like that. I absolutely love this. I use it for bag handles and everything.
Exactly.
And we often have them in stock, but we haven't got them today.
I was kind of like, when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, really? You don't need that.
Well, all it
and
is a tube of plastic and a stick.
So
and I thought, how is that going to work? But it's brilliant, isn't it? So there you go. And you have to make, obviously, 5 of those. When you've done that, you then need to stuff them. Where's my... So there is a stuffed stem. Now, there's no straws or sticks or anything in there. That is just a super stuffed stem. I can't really say that. A super stuffed stem. So I'm just going to show you. I won't do the whole thing because, again, this is something that you make all your stems and then you sit in front of the telly to do this bit. Just take a little bit of stuffing and push it in the end and use, well, I use the bit of my turning tool, but you could just use a chopstick and just push it in. I've done so many of these now. I know the best way to do it. Honestly, I've made so many stems. So just do it little bit by bit. And then once it's in, you can then push it all the way to the end and just make sure it's really very stuffed. This takes a bit of time, but it just means that you know it's really super stuffed. So, you know, that little bit has now just filled that end, and you just do that all the way along. Only use pieces about that size. If you use anything bigger, you will end up with sort of lumps and clumps.
You get a log jam, don't you?
Yeah.
It won't go all the way down.
Now, I mean, and I did think about, well, should we put sticks in? But then you've got to find sticks, and then you've all got to find exactly the same size sticks. Otherwise, they wouldn't. It wouldn't work because the holes in my soil are a set size. So this is why I went down the super stuffing route, like that. So but it gets there gradually. But just stuff it as hard as you can. I mean, and I've stuffed loads of them, and none of them are split, so they're fine. So you just do that all the way along, and then you over sew the ends, and that is your stem. So it's quite simple. Little stems are made in exactly the same way. They're just smaller, and they don't have yellow ends. The next thing you need to do is make a leaf. Every leaf has a pair. There are 2 for everything. So they are doorstop leaf. Again, do what I did. You place, take the end, the straight end, turn it over by 1 centimetre. I'm just guessing for speed, but you can measure it. Oh, dear. To the right side. Place them right sides together, like this. And then, we do it for time, right. And
So
then
that's just a quick way to do that end, neaten that end.
yeah,
isn't
I
it?
just find it easier because you've got to have. I mean, this technique works with lots of things. If you're ever doing something where it says, and then turn the short end inside by 1 centimetre, it's not very easy to do because it's quite fiddly and it's hard to get the seam section to lay straight when you do that. But if you turn it over first, it's easier. Now this again has got a 5mm seam allowance, and the reason for that is it's quite a tight curve, and I think you get a better finish on a tight curve if you use a smaller seam allowance. Also, it means you don't have to clip the seam.
Yes.
Which, when you're doing 5 of them, well, 10 in total, because you've got to do 5 for your little flowers as well, that just takes time.
Yeah.
So the 5mm seam allowance just makes it a little, just gives you a nicer curve. There we go. Reverse
Oh,
stitch.
blue china pot in the lead now.
Then take your leaf,
And you just
turn him right sides
We've got
out.
a question for you, Rebecca. Would Rebecca consider
Flower
pot
pot of the month. Oh, Lord, gosh. Can you imagine? I've made enough flower pots. How about doorstop of the month? I'd do that.
You could do some really funky
Because I love
couldn't you?
doorstops. I've made loads of them. I absolutely love them. I've got, Amy and I are doing a new one at the moment, so we should have that in a couple of months' time. But I love doorstops. Yeah, flower pot of the month. I'm not very good at flowers, though. I think
I
I've
know,
quite this flower that I don't even know what it's called, and a tulip. But it would be nice,
It
wouldn't
still
it?
looks like a tulip, I think.
Yeah, flowers.
don't-
Maybe what you could do is you could just have different flowers, and you could just keep changing them. Then you wouldn't have to keep making the doorstop again. You could just unsew the
Yes.
flowers.
Are they sewn in, or are they just
The
potted in?
flowers are sewn onto the stems.
No, but I mean the other stems sewn in the
Yes,
pot.
yeah. But you could just take the flowers off the top.
Oh, I
couldn't you?
see. Yeah, you could
And
do.
put new flowers
Put
on.
new flowers on.
So you turn it inside out, there you go, and then what I did is top stitch around the edge, and that's what it looks like when it's finished. So that's a stem and a leaf. Now we're going to do flowers. So I have cut all my little flowers out here. There we go. So
Interesting question. Laurie's asked, just a possible idea, could you use bosal foam in the stems?
yes, although I'm not sure how easy it would be then to turn them right sides out.
That's what I'm thinking. You could use it for the pot,
You could use it for the
because
pot, yeah.
it would help the
I
pot
just-
sides, but
I did think about putting wadding in to make them a bit thicker, but I just don't know. They're very narrow to turn them right sides out. Have a go and see if it
do it
works.
on a spare bit of fabric.
Yeah, but what
maybe.
you could do is if you draw around one of the stems, I mean, they're only tubes with a curved end, you could have a go because it might work.
Yes.
I don't know.
It is the turning through
It's
that
the
might be
turning
the issue.
through that might be the problem. But, you know, you could if you didn't want to stuff them, if you could find a stick that was the right thickness, you could put that in there.
I think stuffing, you'd still probably need to stuff them a
You'd
bit,
need to do
wouldn't you?
something, wouldn't you? So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't take long. You can...
It's an
I did
excuse to
5
binge watch the TV.
Well, I did all 5 during EastEnders, so...
Did you?
There you go. So, outer petals, you get 2 petals, outer petals for each flower. They are identical. Place them right sides together, and luckily they are identical, so they will fit. If you want to mix and match your flowers, you can. It's just I've done mine so that flower 1 is the same colour and flower 2 is the same. But if you decided that you wanted to mix and match them, that's fine.
Yes, you could put a different colour centre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or different, so
Like
it just means that
daffodils are.
or if you wanted, because like with this one, they're all shades of yellow and orange. With that one, they're blues and purples. But the one part of the outer petals on the outside, one is on the inside. So if you wanted them to be very multicoloured, then mix and match, because they're all exactly the same size. How are we doing for time? Okay. So what we're going to
10
do
minutes.
is we're going to sew it all the way around the edge, but leave a gap. Mark that, or you're like me, you'll forget to leave the gap. I can't remember what it is. It says in the instructions, but it's about that much. This has a 5mm seam allowance as well. Again, because of those fiddly curves. Now when you get to the edge, you'll think, oh, that's strange because there's a bit of a step on the edge. But because of the seam allowance, that all will work. That little step on the edge is to take into account the seam allowance. Just take care when you're going around the curved bits. Do it slowly, and you may need to pivot and not keep going like I just did. It's actually better if stop at the top point of the curve. Because it is quite a tight curve. And then just make sure you keep that same seam allowance so that you're just following the line. But you see, by using a 5mm seam allowance on these petals, you get a nicer curve than if you used a 1 centimetre all the way around. So the whole thing, none of it is difficult. It's just that there's lots of different bits to them. It's sort of a bit of a process. So you might one day think, right, well, I'm going to cut everything out. And the next, right, well, I'm going to make the flower pot. And then I'm going to make the stems. But it's quite nice because it doesn't get boring because there's lots of stages to do. And you sort of do one and you think, oh, I wonder what it'll look like when it becomes a flower. It's quite exciting. Right. Now, this is really important that you clip everything. I'm just going to press it because you can see everything's gone wibbly because I've sewn it. So just press it flat. You'll get a better finish if you just press the seam before you do anything else because it's all curved up. To get everything to lie flat, snip the corners off as you would normally. And then actually you don't need to snip these. I did when I did my first one and then I got really bored with it, so I didn't anymore. But you do need, because there's so many of them and it's really fiddly, you just need to cut out a triangle in the centre, in that bit there, can you see? But I did snip these to start with, but it takes ages and actually doesn't make any difference. So just make sure you snip out that triangle there because that will help it to turn through better. Also, before you turn, you don't need to press any seams to one side except for the turning gap. Do this with an iron, not with your fingers, but I can't bother to get the iron out again. Turn that over and then press that over because it's easier than when you turn it right sides out if that's pressed already. And then all you have to do is turn it right sides out, like so. And just push your fingers in to open all those little curvy petals, because they're all like little curves there. And then use something like a stick, maybe, or a pair of scissors that aren't very pointy, or a turning tool, and just make sure, if you run whatever you're using, a stick, I use a metal kebab skewer. I'm sure probably a pointy turny tool is better, but I use a metal kebab skewer.
I have the wooden kebab sticks in my workbox all the time. They're so useful for lots of things.
They're brilliant. Well, this thing that comes with the prim turning tool is fantastic.
Yeah.
But so it's important that you get all of these curves nice and curvy. I didn't top stitch them. I tried one and it made the petals too stiff at the edges. So just press it. Should we do that?
It does always look so much better pressed, doesn't it?
Yeah, well then you can, because you've got to do this quite a few times. If you just roll the seam with your fingers and then press it all round, you'll get a nice finish. Now there is a way of sewing this together in a tube all in one go, but it's really fiddly. So I've done it a different way to make it a bit simpler. There is a way of doing it in a tube with all machine sewing, but it is fiddly, so I gave up with that idea. This is easier.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, but this is much simpler. So what you do then is, now you can leave that gap unsewn, that doesn't matter because we'll be running stitching that later, is you put the two ends together and you take a needle, which I have threaded, and this you do by hand. You could, if you didn't want to hand sew these, you could overlap them and machine sew them. I didn't do that because I wanted them to be sitting right next to each other. So all you do is attach the thread in one corner by just working a couple of little over sewing stitches to secure, and then put them together. They are identical, there isn't a right side and a wrong side, and then just slip stitch them together. That means, what I did is I worked all the way up, so you just work, there we go, a small stitch through the fold of the fabric on one side, and then a small stitch through the fabric on the other side, and this means that all you see on the right side are those little horizontal stitches. And do that all the way up. And then what I did, because I find it easier to do it, to hold it together with quite big gaps between them. I'm doing this quite quickly. Please do yours a little bit more slowly and neater than mine. Mine's a bit quick, so I can finish off. When you get to the top, work a couple of over sewing stitches and then slip stitch back down again into the gaps, and then you'll get a neater finish, which I'm not going to do because I won't have enough time. So that's the outer petals, like that. And the inner petal is made in exactly the same way. It's just smaller, but the whole process is exactly the same as the outer petals. Then when you come to construct your flower, you start with the inner petals. Now use I'll show you, use a double length of thread. So I use about 1 metre of thread, I think. Use a double length, thread the two ends in your needle. Now we'll have to lick that, I know you're not supposed to, but I can't thread my needle without doing that, because you've got to get both ends in. Ooh. This is where you wish you'd done this in advance. Right, I'll start with the little one. So don't start on the seam, start a bit away and put the needle in and out, and then thread the needle through the loop, and you've got a really secure end because we're going to gather this. I think this is the easiest way to do a gathering stitch because that's much more secure than over sewing. And then you just work a running stitch about 5 mil up from the edge. It doesn't need to be exact. Try and keep the stitches reasonably small, but just work that all the way round. I'll get there in a minute. And actually, I think this sort of hand-gathered look around the bottom looks quite pretty. So use a thread that matches the petal, because you don't really want it to stand out. I'm making my stitches reasonably big here, but try and make them quite small. The reason I didn't start on the join is it will gather better if you stitch across the join like that, just because there's more bulk in the join.
Of course, we had the early bird this morning, which was the box of variegated threads. 10,
yeah, well, you need
threads.
lots of different colours of threads for this, because you need green thread, brown thread,
yes,
thread for that, all different threads. So a good mixture of threads. So now take your stamen, and the good thing about this is because it's printed, you can see where to go. It's not printed for that reason, but it helps. It's printed. So gather it all up. This is how I did it, and it's got to fit around the end of here. Don't worry about where you're fitting it at the moment, just make sure it fits. And then work a couple of over sewing stitches to secure.
Are you stitching into the stem as well?
No, I'm just stitching into the
stitching
leaf at this
leaf,
stage.
yeah.
I'm making sure it fits. Take it off, because it's easier, because these gathers now need to be even. And it's easier to adjust the gathers when they're not on the stem. So just make them even. You can then put it back in again. You can do it from, actually I do usually do it from that end because it's easier. And then this inner flower is placed about 5 mils up from the bottom of the stamen. All this is in the instructions, you haven't got to remember this. About, you don't have to measure it. And then to attach it, all you need to do, because you've still got the thread attached, is push the thread. This is why it's good that it's stuffed, because you can then push your needle all the way through from one side to the other. And I did that 3 or 4 times. So push it all the way through from one side to the other, and then cross a bit. So that secures it in place. So if you ever want to swap your flowers, you've only got to undo those bits. But this is why, if you used wooden dowel or anything, I'm not sure how you would attach it. I suppose you could slip stitch it round, but the gathers make it quite thick. Do that quite a few times. When you come to do the outer flower, exactly the same thing, gather it, but with the outer flower, you put the edge on the edge of the stamen and sew it together. You then end up with a whole flower, what I've made earlier, one of these, and you can see, if I pull it back and then you can see, the stamen, the yellow stamen bit is in the middle. So when you're, the reason I did that is because obviously it's a doorstop. You can see it if I do it like that. It's a doorstop, so you'll be looking at it from above. So it needs to look nice.
It's got to look, it does, it just
It
finishes
needs to
off
look
a
nice
treat,
when you
doesn't
look,
it?
which is why the inner flowers, inner petals are lined and the outer petals are lined, because you
Yes.
will be looking at your doorstop like that, and then that little stamen needs to be in the centre, whereas if it been green it wouldn't have looked real. And also it's just, so you can see, I've just gathered it
It's
all
just
the way
all
around
the
the
attention
edge.
to detail, though. I think it's gorgeous.
But
So-
that's not difficult, is it?
No, but the print of the fabric, the way that you've got all of the colours in the petals, so they're not just a solid colour.
And then with
It's
the
beautiful.
leaves, you just wrap them around the stem like this and over sew up about 1 centimetre, and then I worked a few stitches through as well, and that just holds the leaf in place. Once it's done, then you can either have the leaf flat, or if you fold it over, you get a nice bit. And then when you've done that, you poke it, all the measurements are in, but you poke it through the holes in the soil. I'll just do one to show you. I tried stuffing it and then poking it, and it's harder, so it's best to do it that. So you poke it through, and then you hand sew all the way around the edge, just through the top. Do you go around twice?
So you're holding it in place. And you said it's about 8 centimetres
Yeah,
inside,
it says in the
isn't it?
instructions, you measure up from the bottom of here, put a pin in, put that through, and then hand sew. So that's, that's quite simple, because all you're doing is hand sewing that soil to the stem. When you've sewn all 5 in, it all becomes a bit floppy then. You've got leaves and flowers and everything. You can then stuff it. So what I did is I put the weighted filling in first, and then I stuffed it. And obviously you've got flower stems in there, but they're all in place because you've sewn them, but you need to stuff around them.
Yeah.
When I stuffed it first and put the stems in, it was quite hard to separate it, to get them in the right place. I got a neater finish. I tried one way and one the other way. The little one is made in exactly the same way. It's just the flowers are different, but a lot easier. And I don't think I've got time to show you that, though.
Unfortunately not.
But they
That's
are,
been
the little
fascinating.
flowers are really easy because they're just a rectangular fabric. But other than that, it's exactly the same.
And all of the instructions
It's all in there anyway.
explain
It's all in
everything
there.
that you're going to need to know. So how are we doing? Which one's winning? Blue China's still winning.
Oh, okay. I had no idea
So-
which one.
I know, I don't know which one, and I like the idea of having both, and I like the idea of putting the blue in the blue and the
Swapping them
orange in
round.
the... Yes, you can do whatever you like, can't you? So we've only got 20 left of the Blue China one, and 25, so it's very close
Oh, it's
call.
very close,
Very
isn't it?
close call. So obviously by the end of the day, it'd be interesting to know which one.
Yes, which one
But
went.
obviously you can still keep ordering on the website. So we're pretty sure they will sell out by the end of the day. So if you are interested, I just suggest that you check out your baskets and make sure you get one. You don't want to be disappointed after that amazing demo, because now we all know how to do it.
We all know how to make a flower pot.
We all know how to make a flower pot, and I think they're fantastic. Great doorstops. So thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
And you're on air on Monday.
Monday, yes, I'm Flower of the Month on Monday.
Flower
it's
of
the
the
final.
Month. Oh, it's the final Flower of the Month,
It's the final
yes.
end of Flower of the Month.
So are
with the
you
whole
are you
quilt.
just doing the one panel, or are you doing how to put them all together?
I'm going to show you how to
or-
put them all together, because we've got a panel that's got all the border, the sashing and the borders and the binding. So I'm going to show you how to put it all together, because we have finally got to the end of the year So you can get all of them and the panel as well to make the whole Flower of the Month quilt.
It's going to look fantastic. It
Yes,
really
I know.
is.
I've got it all in bits at home. It looks gorgeous.
Yes.
Really gorgeous.
Yes. So that's on Monday.
That's
if you
on
don't know
Monday.
what we're talking about, you have to watch on
Yeah,
Monday. And
wait
don't
till
forget,
Monday,
that's also
Flower
the
of the
last day
Month.
of our competition.
Yes.
So you have to enter you have to find the Easter egg every day from today. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then on Monday, you email in to studio@sewingstreet.com. And then on Tuesday, the winner will be announced. And the winner is the lucky person who gets this mega, huge bundle of fabric. Absolutely huge. After the break, we have got a lovely little girl's dress with Rebecca Harrison. She's going to join me again and share some tips on making this cute dress. And of course, we have fabric to go with it and other bits and bobs. So do stay tuned. See you after this.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
Hello Sewing Street fans, let me introduce myself. My name is Clive, I live in Kenilworth in Warwickshire. I currently run a business in Kenilworth and that's doing alterations on people's clothing. So I really enjoy kind of providing that service for the local community. My sewing journey first began when my grandmother gave me a hand crank sewing machine and from there I was fascinated about how things were put together. To the point where I used to make clothing from my favourite toys out of toilet tissue. I've also kind of studied fashion design at Epsom University in Surrey, so I've kind of gained knowledge along the way of different aspects of sewing, like pattern cutting. So yeah, that's a little bit about my sewing journey. My number one sewing tip is don't give up. Sometimes you'll get frustrated and you're angry with yourself, but really just put it to one side and take half an hour, go and have a cup of tea and a biscuit and then come back to it and then you'll kind of like have a fresh mind to start again. The positive happiness that comes from that is just amazing. So please don't give up, keep on sewing. My claim to fame? Well, if you've been watching, you've probably heard my name mentioned on Sewing Street several times. My husband is Mark Francis from the Sewing Bee, the Great British Sewing Bee. So that's number one claim to fame. My second claim to fame is I had Adele, the beautiful, beautiful tones of Adele singing for me when I was a barman back in the day. It was just amazing to have her sing to me at my bar. So yeah, and also I've met Prince Harry at a VIP party. Stay tuned on Sewing Street and you'll see me very soon. Hope it all goes well, fingers crossed.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters. So you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
While we're having to spend more time at home again, we're here to keep you busy and entertained. Sewing Street will be live every day from 8 a.m, bringing you plenty of demonstrations with our experts in dressmaking, quilting, bag making, toy making, needle felting, embroidery, and so much more. Our community of fellow sewists on the Sewing Street Fans Facebook group are there to chat to you about whatever you're making, sharing photos and advice. Check out the Sewing Street Facebook and Instagram pages for fun competitions and offers.
Hi, welcome back. I hope you're ready, settled to have a lovely demo from Rebecca Harrison, who's joined me again. We've got two Rebeccas today. Actually, maybe I'll just call everybody Rebecca. Actually, we've got Carrie coming later. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at this really cute simplicity pattern, which is for, I'm going to say little girls because it's a dress. But it's really lovely. It is in a variety of sizes from half a year, 6 months, up to 4 years. But what I want to do is I want to give you that in chest measurements because children vary in sizes. So the chest measurement on that is 19 inches or 48 centimetres. That's the little tiny one. That's the 6 months old one. Going up to 23 inches or 58 centimetres for the 4-year-old. So this pack here, I think this comes in 2 sizes. So I've actually got the one up to 2 years. So the 2-year one is the chest size is 21 inches and that makes 53 centimetres if you're in centimetres. So we've only got that one. So if your child is bigger than that, I'm afraid the pattern doesn't go up to that here. So as I say, chest size is 19 to 21. That's more important than saying what age because you need to make it by your own child's size. So the pattern, what do you get? So you obviously get the pattern envelope. Now, I wax lyrical about patterns because obviously they're a passion with me. On the front, you'll get the photograph, but more importantly you want to look at the line drawings because the line drawings give you the detail that sometimes the photo doesn't show you. So there are 4 views or 4 variations of this little dress as well as the little hat in here. And on the back of the envelope you've got the sizing that I was just reading for. It tells you what type of fabric to use. So it gives you some ideas on there. It tells you what other trims, threads, etc. you need to buy, and it tells you how much to buy in 2 different widths of fabric. So depending on which width you're working with, you know how much fabric to buy. Now this will tell you how much to buy for the dress. We're doing the dress and the hat. So you need to combine those 2 together. And we found you can get the dress and the hat out of 2 meters. So bear that in mind. We've got some fabrics to show you, and that's up to the bigger size, the age 2 size. So it's also got, and inside, of course, you've got the tissue. So this is tissue paper, because a lot of the patterns we have on these shows are paper. Advantages of tissue paper are you can actually use your dressmaking shears, it won't blunt them, but also you can tissue fit, so you can pin the pieces to your little person carefully, obviously, which makes it easier to tissue fit. And then the advantages of the heavier pattern is they'll last more easily. But it's one of one and 6 of another or whatever. And then of course you've got the full instructions, and I do always recommend that you read the instructions through before you start. You have the various layouts for the different views, the different fabric widths, mark the one you're going to follow, and then all of the instructions are there step by step with clear diagrams to help you along your way, much of which you're going to show us. So that's the pattern. We do have another little pattern, so do look on the website. We have another little pattern which is shirt and short, so we're not missing out anybody. Everybody can do this. I'm not going to say which sex. But what we're going to do before we get to Rebecca is we're just going to look at some of the fabrics we have got to offer you. These are all 2 metre bundles. As I say, that's enough then to make the little hat as well as the little dress. And this is one of the fabrics that's recommended, a gingham. So this is a navy gingham, so it's a nice cotton fabric. Is it cotton or cotton poly? Just cotton, so it's nice cotton fabric, so lovely and cool for summer. 2 metres, 2 metre bundle, and that is $14.99 for 2 metres. So that makes that dress beautifully. So I didn't say what the pattern was, but obviously you need the pattern as well. There are a few trims you can add. You don't have to though, do you? No. You can keep it quite, but you need elastic presumably for these
you need
things.
elastic,
So all of that is on there. Then we have the green. This is fresh, isn't it? So this is a nice spring summer colour again. But this is lovely. You can, of course, you can use this to make the shorts and the shirt if you go for the other pattern. That's on the website at the moment. We have the yellow, which is the one you're working on this time, isn't it? So this is a really nice one too. Nice and summery. And then we have the paler blue. This is like sky blue. So really, really pretty fabrics and lovely quality fabric to work with. 2 metre bundles. So each one is a 2 metre bundle for $14.99. And then we have, now these are fabrics you can buy by the ½ metre. And if you wanted to make the hat as well, which I think is a great idea, keep the sun off the head, you need 2 metres. So you'd need 4 times. So this is the this is the outer space or something, isn't it? This one, Adventures in the Sky. That's right. Yes. So don't forget, if you want this, it's a Liberty print, and if you want this, you put 4 of these into your basket, $7.49 per item, and then it will come as a 2 metre piece. We also have the little anchors, nice little nautical thing going on there. So that's really sweet. That would look so cute with a little dress and a hat. Or, you know, as we were saying, the little shirt. Let me just quickly look at the little shirt pattern, and I can tell you what you need for that as well. So for the shirt, it's very little fabric here. You need, there's one with contrast. So if I go for one that's not got a contrast, that's version B. You just need 80 centimetres of that for the shirt, and for the shorts, just 50. So, you know, it's a very small requirement. I wouldn't use this for the shorts, actually. It's a bit thin for the shorts, but certainly for the shirt, that would be lovely. Nice little shirt. So you'd need 2 for that one. This one is cute too. We had this yesterday, didn't we? Oh, I've had it before. I've seen it before. It's really sweet. This little animal print. This is just $3.49 for ½ metre. This is a cute one. You could make the shorts out of this one. They'd be lightweight, very lightweight shorts, great for the summer. So that's really sweet. And then we have, I'm sure I have seen this. This is Moda. This is cute, isn't it? Oh, and we're waxing lyrical about the selvages. This one says, be truthful, gentle and fearless. Worth cutting off and keeping. You never know when you might use that. So this is a nice one. Nice weight of fabric here. It's Moda fabric. Again, don't forget, this is a ½ metre piece. So if you're going to make it in one of these little outfits, you'll need to multiply that up. This little flower. This is the one that Rebecca used to make the sample, which is on the little stand there. Again, it's a Liberty. So it's a really pretty print. Nice little pretty print there. Really lovely, summery little dress. And you used 2 metres, didn't you, to make that and the hat?
Yes.
Yes, so it's 2 metres of that. So it's 4 times that price there, 4 times that number of units. And then this one, I like this one because I like these. This is pretty. Look at these lovely flowers. See, I love flowers. I just can't grow them. One day. This is really pretty, isn't it? So lots and lots of lovely colours going on here. And then finally we have this little pink one. So this is another Liberty print. Look at that. Nice little all over pattern there, which is really sweet. Little sort of white flowers. on the pink background. So all of these would work beautifully for this little dress. They would work beautifully for the shirt. And let's have a quick look at that shirt, because we don't want to miss anybody out of our audience here. We want the boys and the girls to have something. So here's the little shirt. So again, what we have here, this is a little shirt with a pocket. If you're not confident about doing something like that, leave the pocket off. You don't have to have a pocket on. It's also got shorts. So you've got shorts with turn-ups. You have longer shorts, and they have the pockets on them as well. So it's really good. Now the size range on this one is we've got all of it in the one envelope. So that's good, which goes from small to extra large, which means absolutely nothing until I give you the measurements. So basically they've done this on, really is for toddlers. So they've done this on weight and height. So the small is somebody who weighs 13 to 17 pounds and is 25 to 26 inches high. So it's the little diddy one, isn't it? And then the extra large, the weight is 26 to 29 pounds, and that is 31 to 32 inches high. So it's better to take measurements of your little ones rather than actually think, oh, I need to make a size 4, I need to make a size 3 or something. In the same way as us, actually. You know, there's no way we should have a look at a pattern and say, well, when I go to the shops, I'm a size 10, so I'll make a size 10.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So today we are going to focus on the little dress. So all of the rest is available on the website, but the main graphics will be about the little dress. And we do have some corduroy fabrics, we have some ribbons, we have some elastic, so do have a look on the website. But we want to crack on with your demo.
Yes.
So over to you,
Little
Rebecca.
dress done. So cute, isn't it?
It is so cute, isn't it?
I've got 2 daughters, but they're too old for this now, which is just
and I've got 2 boys who wouldn't wear it.
Upsetting, really. But yes, no, it's super, super cute. And quite easy to put together. So it's not too advanced, really, I would say. So this is for the older. This is the up to 2 years old, isn't it? So there, this is for the old ones that I've cut out. And this is the skirt like this that's got the 3 layers, just very slightly gathered round, not massively gathered, but yeah, it's just very cute. So to start off with, I've already put one little sleeve in with the elastic in. So I'm gonna put the other one in now and show you how to. It's got a channel. It's the same. You can't really see it because it's the same fabric, but I'll show you what I'm doing. So to make the channel, you need to cut your fabric on the cross, on the bias of your fabric, which is going across your grain, because what you need is that little. So you can see that little stretch. Because especially around the neck, if you have a look on this bit, there's a slight curve on the front of the neck there. And so if you didn't have your bias, if you didn't have that stretch in it, it just wouldn't sit properly, would it? You want it to be sitting beautifully for you. So I'm just going to sew these 2 together. And when you do this, if you have a look on here, it looks a bit strange because one's going off in one direction and one's going down. But when you turn it like that, it's all going in the same direction. So it feels a bit odd, doesn't it, when you first do it? It means
it's still biased there.
Yes.
And also that the seam isn't just one rigid seam, it's sort of angled. That's why we do it like that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So it will stretch with it rather than a seam going straight down. So if I just do this little seam. Give that a little press. I think it's worth saying as well, before you cut out anything when you're using a pattern, place all your pattern pieces first. Get it all on your fabric and make sure that you can get it all out. You've positioned it properly on the fold where it says
you've got
to fold.
You've got pattern layouts on the tissue, and what I do is I always make sure that I mark the one I'm following, because you'll have several. You have different pattern layouts for the different views. So the different variations of the garment are called views. And then you'll have different patterns for those. And you also will have, within that, you'll have a layout for the 115 wide, which is the 44, 45 inch wide. So our calico is that one.
Yeah.
And then you have another layout if your fabric is wider. So in order that you don't get disturbed and suddenly mix them up, I usually put an asterisk or a Dayglow pen, mark the layout I'm following.
Yeah, that's a very
and
good idea.
it tells you what pieces you need on there. You've got a list of the pieces on here so you can see what they are. Each of the pieces has got the number on it, it's got the pattern piece on it, it tells you what it is, tells you how many to cut in fabric, etc. So all the information you need is right there. It also tells you how much elastic you need to buy.
There's a great little guide.
Yes, you've got an elastic guide, haven't you?
Which is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the pattern pieces, which won't be listed on the fabric layout because you don't cut it out in fabric, you purely use it to know which length of elastic to cut. And the elastic you need is a pack of 6mm wide or 1/4 inch wide elastic.
So all I'm doing is I'm just pressing in because it helps when you're sewing it on. So I'm just turning those edges over and just pressing them down.
How much are you turning them over by?
About 1/4 inch.
Right.
See how far we get with that, and then I might have to press a bit more. Right. So I've got my sleeve here. So your seam allowance is 1.5 centimetres or 5/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to quickly go down there. And I have overlocked all my pieces before I've started. But if you don't have an overlocker, you may have an overlocking stitch on your machine or a zigzag, or failing that, pinking shears.
Yeah, you need to neaten those raw edges, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Let's give that a little press, open. And with your sleeve, there's a definite front and back, because if you look on the little bodice piece, you see the bodice at the front dips, and the back of the neck is much higher. So on your sleeve, there's a definite front and back. So if I do it like that, so the front is slightly smaller than the back. So you
and
can't.
It is important to put those in the right way, otherwise you have arms going.
Yeah,
like
but you'll see it if you.
And also you've got notches on them, haven't you?
Yes.
But you've cut those off because you've overlocked.
Yeah. But if you you'll see if you put that on, you'll see if you've got it on the wrong way, because the front will not meet at the top of the back.
Yeah.
So you'll see that you've got it on the wrong way. So I'm going to do a tiny little hem first. So I use my overlocking stitch as a guide to hemming, because it says in there to just use a very small hem to hem the edges. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn it up the length, the width of the my overlocking stitch. Did you used to make your children's clothes, Wendy?
I made some of them, not a huge amount because they're boys and they're very much...
Bit picky.
Yeah. But what I do have to do for them is alterations. I was saying earlier, they're 6 foot tall and skinny beans. So I have to take their jeans in, I have to take their tops in. Fortunately, they're not really into wearing shirts. But I have taken shirts in.
Yeah.
My son the other day, he said, if I buy these dungaree shorts, and I think, really? Anyway, if I buy these dungaree shorts, can you take them in by 2 inches at the sides? So that's like taking 4 inches
either
off.
side. Wow.
And I sort of looked at it, it's hard because of course they have the sort of hip pockets and they have the metal rivets, don't
Yes,
they?
yeah.
And I said, you know, it's virtually impossible to take them in at the sides. I'd have to take them in at the centre back seam. And
It's
so,
very
I
difficult
don't think he
to
bought them in the
alter
end.
something that's already been
Completely finished.
made, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
It is much harder. So all I've done there is I've turned over my bias so I haven't got a raw edge, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way round and then I'm going to butt the other bit right up against there, because I need to be able to thread my elastic through. And if I show you on this one, so you can see that there is an opening there, but I've turned it back so it's not a raw edge, you can't see it. And what you could do to finish it off if you wanted to is just slip stitch that
closed.
Yeah, slip stitch it
You
closed.
could actually just use bias binding for this
Yes,
bit, couldn't you?
yeah, absolutely.
Rather
Yeah,
than
you
creating
don't-
your own binding.
Yeah, you don't need to.
In fact, the pattern does tell you to buy.
Yeah, you
bias
don't need
binding.
to use it out of the fabric, but it's just there if you want to.
It's nice though. It's a nice finish.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it matches, doesn't it? You can. So all I'm doing is place this. Now this is a bit fiddly because obviously this is a tiny sleeve. Been a long time since my girls were this small.
Yes. And it's funny, isn't it? Because people just assume that making children's clothes will be easier because they're small, but actually it can be trickier because they're just fiddly because they're small.
Yeah, because they're so tiny. Yeah.
And they can take just as long because of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Katz just says it, but it's so satisfying when they're finished and you get them twirling around in their dresses, which made me smile because I'm thinking of my boys twirling around in their dresses. I did used to make things like, all the costumes, for World Book Day,
Yes.
Dressing Up Day and things like that.
Yeah, I always did for the school shows.
Yes.
I used to help.
Oh, some of the shows, in order to be sort of all-inclusive, the primary school my boys went to, every child in the school was included in the school production at Christmas, which wasn't particularly Christmassy in order to be, okay for all denominations.
Yes.
So my boys have been things like spiders and snowflakes and all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Yeah.
I did create instructions, I'm not saying patterns because it was all done on measurements, to do the whole nativity scene, which I had in a magazine I was editing at the time. So you could be Mary, Joseph, Shepherd, or one of the kings. And it was all about sort of basically taking a tunic triangle and just to make very, very simple patterns for a nativity scene. I know,
because for you and I, things like that, but friends of mine, they'd say, that's my worst
worst nightmare.
Yeah. School have said to me, make this.
And of course, you normally get asked to make it a day before you need it, not because the school's only asked you a day before you need it, but because your delightful little one has forgotten to mention it.
Yeah. Oh, I sort of miss those days.
Not sure I do.
Really? Now I've got none at primary.
I've still got one at uni. And
Yeah,
he's just applied for his master's, so he's going to still be at uni. And he wants to do his doctorate, so...
Is he away or home?
He's away, but away, he's only in Chichester, which is, 20 minutes from me.
Yeah.
So it's lovely, actually. I'm very lucky that I get to see him more than most parents whose children go off to uni.
Yeah, my eldest goes off to uni this year.
It is hard.
I'm foreseeing that already.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be, I'm going to find it very, very difficult without her. But they've got to.
It's very good for them.
They've got to do it, haven't they?
It is very, very good
really
for them,
important, I think, that they.
I went because he's my bubble, my support bubble.
Yeah.
So I went for dinner with him the other day. I phoned up to see whether he fancied going for a walk, but he was already on one. So instead, he said, "Why don't you just come up for dinner?" So I went up for dinner, and he cooked. We had what were they? Tacos.
Oh, lovely.
That's what it was. I'm proud of the fact that both my sons can cook.
Yeah.
And in fact, my
big
oldest
thing,
son
isn't it?
says he can cook a better roast than me.
That sounds like a challenge.
I have to say, his roast potatoes are superb. And he spends so much time on them. He parboils them, then he roughs them up, and he coats them in hot oil. Then he adds salt and pepper and herbs and a couple of spices to them. So they are absolutely gorgeous. They really are. Whereas I don't even peel the potatoes. I just cut them small and virtually dry roast them.
Right, so I've gone all the way round there. So now I'm just going to, with a safety pin on the end of my elastic, I'm just going to...
You're actually using wider elastic than it says.
Yes, because the elastic I was given was this one. So what I've done is I've chopped it in half.
Oh, okay. So you just have, if you do use wider elastic, which actually gives it a nice finish, I think, you just have to remember that your bias tape has to be wide enough to fit it.
And it's fine. You can chop it in half, and it's and
it still works. So you chopped it in half lengthways.
Yeah,
get double the amount out of it.
Yes, yeah. Well, I've got 2 dresses out of 1 pack.
Yes.
So it's worked really well. So just thread that through.
So have you put a safety pin on the end?
I've put a safety, I've put a safety pin on the end. So I can feel where that's going.
Oh, we've got a message here.
Yeah.
Christine Cummins has said, my youngest daughter is 23 and works in a children's nursery. She still asks a day or two before an event if I can make her a costume, World Book Day, etc. And sometimes things for her workmates too. I think that's fabulous. Even at 23, she's still leaving it at the last minute. Mum, can you just run up this?
Brilliant.
This is why it's so useful actually to have fabric in your stash. You never know when you might be needing it.
Yes. So I'm gonna just overlap that elastic by about half an inch, and I'm just gonna run a stitch over it just to keep it together. This is quite fiddly because it is so little. Just go over it.
You need to do it just to make it into a circle, don't you?
Just go over it a few times. There we go. And then it should ease back in. There we go. And like I said, you can just slip stitch that if you want to. So there's your little dinky sleeve.
It's cute.
It's very, very cute. So now I'm just going to attach it now, like I've done the other one, to the little bodice part. So right sides together. Line up your seam. I like to put a pin through the middle of my seam and then match it up, put it through there, the middle of there, so I know
it's perfectly matched.
That is absolutely matched up.
This is a lovely way of putting a sleeve in actually, because you're not trying to set it into a hole.
Yes.
So that makes it simpler. And as you say, you'll know you've got it the right way round because the ends are going to meet.
That's
and if they don't, try it the other way.
Yeah, that's it.
One thing though, you're using this gingham, and this gingham it looks the same right and wrong, doesn't it? You know, there is no wrong. So what I do, I don't know about you, Rebecca, but I mark the wrong side of every piece with like a chalk cross or something.
Just in case.
To make sure I put them the same each side. Otherwise you could end up having 2 sleeves going the same way. And it just prevents that sort of thing happening.
Yes, yeah, no, that's a very good tip, yeah. So just put that in.
What is it like outside today? We're stuck in the studio, we don't get to see. So it's not particularly nice.
It wasn't very
nice. Well, that's good. It's a good reason to stay in. You're justified in staying in. Staying in and learn some new sewing techniques. So this is a very, very sweet little dress, and we're making it in a cotton here, but you can actually use other fabrics. It's also suggesting batiks. Oh, that would be so lovely in batik,
Would be,
wouldn't it?
yes, it would
Chambray
be.
piqué gauze, lightweight linen and linen blends. One of the versions is actually got an overskirt, so you can have like a sheer fabric on an overskirt. So in that case, it would be really lovely for a party dress, or if you're going to a formal occasion, if you could make that view. So that's, I think that's view F.
Little girls would love that, wouldn't
Yes. And then there's the view with the trim. So they're all similar in, the same sort of thing, really and truly. But if you can add the trims and things as well to really sort of pretty it up, to make it fancy.
Right, just give that a little press.
I love this colour.
It's lovely, isn't it? It's just very spring, summer.
Are you not worrying about matching up the checks or
Well,
anything?
do you know what? I would, but it's the amount of fabric that you would need.
You then have to worry about
in order,
pattern matching, don't you?
in order to do that. But yes, I mean, if you really wanted to, I mean, I would, in an ideal world, that would be what I would do, really. But I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters. I think it's only sort of really obvious if it was a big pattern.
Yeah.
And certainly if you went for, rather than the gingham, you went from one of these little prints, you wouldn't have the problem at all.
Oh, no.
There's no problem with any of those.
No.
And of course, earlier on today, we had, I don't know if you saw it, because obviously you were busy, but we had the little flamingo fabric.
I saw that.
Oh, so cute.
No, that would be lovely in this,
Wouldn't it
wouldn't
be lovely in this?
It'd be
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It really would. So now, both the sleeves on. So as you can see, the neck is very wide, ready for your elastic. So again, I'm just going to turn it over because you need a nice neat edge. So I'm just going to turn it over the width of my overlocking stitch and just stitch all the way round.
So again, there's elastic in this, isn't there?
Yes, there's elastic goes round the neck, brings it all in together.
So when you're working with a fabric like this, you can either use a 70/10 needle or an 80/12. Just for those that like to know which needle to use for their projects. And I noticed there that you haven't pinned it all the way round, you're just...
No, I mean, I'm doing it like this because I'm used to doing it, but and I'm for quickness as well, so I can show you more of the dress, but yeah, by all means, pin it all the way round.
Sometimes I mean, when you're turning over only a narrow bit, I find actually it's easier to do it this way.
Yeah.
Just to keep stopping and starting. It's looking pretty. It's quite therapeutic just watching you sew,
It's a nice little thing to do, actually.
It is, isn't it? It's really nice little thing.
It is. It's a lovely little dress.
Yes, Kat's just saying, could you whip it up in an afternoon? I think you could, couldn't you? Quite easily.
Yeah, easily.
Often what I find I prefer to do is cut out one day, sew the next.
Yeah.
Because if you're cutting out with a great deal of care, if you are pattern matching and things, it's quite tiring and it can, it takes quite a long time. And then, you're refreshed when you come to sew it the next day.
Yeah. No, that is a good idea. So I'm just going to press a little bit more of this because it does make it easier.
Yeah.
When you're
so this is you've made this binding, but you could use pre.
Yes, absolutely.
Bought.
Yeah. Just make sure you've got it slightly bigger than your elastic, otherwise you'll be fighting with it when you try and thread your elastic through. So yeah, just make sure that you measure your elastic and
get the binding to suit.
Yes.
But there is enough because we wanted it to be simple for everybody watching. If you wanted to buy a bundle, you've got enough in there to make your own bias binding.
Absolutely.
Which is why Rebecca's doing just that.
Yeah. Right, hopefully that's...
The yellow, by the way, is the most popular at the moment. We always
Is it?
like to
I'm
see
not
which
surprised,
which one is
actually.
going to be most popular.
Yeah.
The yellow is lovely inside. Well,
it's-
yellow's quite a good colour at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, indeed, you're
I think it's
wearing
lovely.
your
It's
mustard
lovely on
there.
children as well.
It is.
It's a lovely colour. And it's a nice, it's like a sort of subtle yellow, isn't it, as well?
It is as well, yeah. It's nice and fresh.
Right, there we go.
So that's just doing this. So this is basically just preparing the binding, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously I've done that incredibly quickly. If you're going to do it yourself, so obviously give yourself a bit of time to take that through. So again, I am going to neaten my edge, turn it over slightly, and then I'm going to start at a seam. Just pin that into place. And you'll see now why you need to have it on the bias.
Yes, because you're going to go around that neck curve.
It's just going to, it's just going to shape around the neck. Ooh, with a safety pin, I don't want that. And I want to have time as well to show you the hat as well.
Got about 15 minutes left, Rebecca.
Oh, okay. So I might not get the elastic in here.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm looking at the instructions here, and what it's actually telling you to do is turn under 1.5 centimetres, 5/8 of an inch to the inside to form the casing. So they haven't put a separate casing on, which you're doing.
Oh, right.
And then leaving, so then you make the casing out of the top edge of the garment.
Yeah, that would be quite difficult, I think, round the neck.
Because of the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be. You might be able to do it with the sleeve.
No, the sleeve you did put, according to this, you do put the binding on, but the neck edge you don't, you just turn it under. So, it's up to you. You can do as Rebecca's showing you or as the pattern says. But everything else is the same. It's just, it would just save putting binding on.
I'm not sure how. Well, presumably it would sit correctly if it's in the pattern.
I think this is a smoother, prettier finish.
It takes a little bit of time, but
it does. But it's not that much time, really.
No.
You're trying to get this done, to get this whole demo done in an hour. We're not constrained to do it. We're not on the GBSB trying to make something in an hour. We do have the time when we're at home to enjoy it. It should be an enjoyable process, shouldn't it?
Yeah. So that goes all the way round. Stitch it both sides and then run your elastic through. So I want to move on to
the skirts,
getting these frills done. So you've got 3 different sizes. You cut out 2 of each, so you've got a seam each side, and then you need to run 2 lines of gather stitching around the top. So that's the biggest stitch, usually a 5, that your machine will go to, and within the seam allowance and close together. Now remember, these machines that you can, you have the option to, that cuts the thread. Don't do that when you're gathering. Yeah, don't do it when you're gathering, because you need that thread to pull up.
Yeah, you need to be able to pull up the thread tails,
yeah,
don't
so
you?
don't do that.
And if you're actually doing, I don't know if it says this in the pattern, but if you're doing a long piece like the bottom ruffle that you're going to do, I would do it in 2 halves as well. Because when you're trying to pull up a really long piece, there's nothing more annoying than the thread breaking halfway through pulling it up.
I tend to do it from both sides.
Yes, same here. So pull up from the start and from the finish, and pull the bobbing threads up because they're easier to pull up.
Yeah.
You don't need to use a different thread, you can use a regular thread. There is another very quick method actually, which is you have like a crochet cord or something like that, which you lay just inside the seam allowance, and then you zigzag stitch over it so you don't actually stitch on it, and then you pull that up.
Yeah.
To gather. Then you sort of machine stitch over to keep the gathers in place, and then you take the cord out and use it again for another time. And that's a very quick way. It's what you often do, like in costumes and things, or if you're gathering heavy fabrics that are harder to gather.
Yeah, well that's harder. That's a nightmare if that goes on a heavy fabric.
Yeah.
Your stitches, your thread out the way, that's it. Okay, so I'm just gonna get those out of the way.
And just sort of pull up the gathers.
Now this isn't, it's very gentle. It's a very gentle gather on this dress, so you don't need too much, because it just falls gently. And as you're pinning it on, so that's the first one. So again, we do right sides together, match up your side seam,
So again, I mean, sometimes
side
as well,
seams.
this is only a little dress, but another thing you can do, a bit like Reid did just now in the quarter, so you quarter it, match your centre front and your centre backs.
Yeah.
And then you can even out the ruffles in between.
So make sure you can get to your threads to be able to gather up more if that's what's needed.
And yeah, you just want to even those gathers out, don't you, all the way round?
Yeah. But as I said, it's a very, very gentle amount of gather in this. There isn't masses.
No, it's nice though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just
it
a bit,
is.
just to get a bit of room for movement
Yeah.
and for playing and everything. This is really sweet. So all this is from this Simplicity Toddler dress pattern. So all of the instructions are in there. And you do get the hat pattern in there. I don't know if we're going to have time to do the hat, but the hat pattern is in there. Again, the clear instructions on how to make. I'm just showing them over here. Quite a simple hat. It looks like it's got a six-piece crown, and then you have the brim.
And you have exactly the same inside, so it's like a lining inside.
Right, so it's like, yes.
It's all encased.
And then you've got a band,
Yes.
which covers your raw edges where you've got the brim on, but it also gives it some stability on that curve. And that's from grosgrain ribbon. It's cute, isn't it, that hat?
It's very cute. Yeah. Nice and easy to make.
Yes. And just quickly looking at this, does it tell you to hem before you do the gathering on the last panel?
You can do if you want to.
Because sometimes it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it is.
This is looking really cute.
So that's your first one in, and then you just keep going.
So you'd stitch that before you.
I would,
add the
yeah,
next one,
I would.
yeah.
I would stitch that before, but I'm just, for quickness, I'm just...
So then you do exactly the same for the middle panel.
Yeah.
Gather up the top edge.
That's it. Attach it to the bottom of your first panel.
Which is why it's a good idea to have done what you did, which is overlock the edges if you can.
Yeah,
or
because
edge stitch them or zigzag stitch them or whatever.
as you're doing this, if you've got nothing on the edge, it's just going to fray.
Yeah, and to try and do it afterwards is going to be much more
Yeah,
complicated.
it would be, for sure. So again, matching up the side seams.
It's going to be very cute. So we've got about 5 minutes left. Rebecca, it does go so quickly.
It does. Let me just see if I can get this
I
one on,
do
then you
Zoom
get
classes,
bit.
and sometimes the people, because they're live sew-alongs, and sometimes some people don't want to necessarily sew along, they just want to watch, because they get a recording which they can watch later.
Yeah.
And you know, I sort of always think, oh, don't you find it a bit boring just watching? But I can see why they don't, because it's really mesmerising just to watch.
It's learning,
somebody
isn't
else
it?
doing
Because
it.
we're all, you know, it's like we were saying earlier, isn't it? Doesn't matter how long you've been sewing, there's always something new.
Yes, there is always something new to learn.
New to learn.
New techniques, new way of doing things.
Yeah, most definitely.
I was saying the Prim point turner that we showed just earlier, it comes in a pack of 3, and I did a camisole top with a really spaghetti thin straps, which I've always used. There's 3 methods I've used. I like the rouleau loop turner with a little hook,
Yes.
which can be a right pain because it can fall off halfway through.
Yeah.
Or I use like the string method, where you sew across the short end and then you pull the string
Oh,
through.
yes,
So it's a similar idea. And my friend was waxing lyrical about these Prim, and I was thinking, oh, really? Do you really need all that? Because often I'll use a chopstick, etc. But anyway, I got one and I used it.
changed
And
your
my
life.
goodness, it's so easy to use. It is so easy to use. So when we get them back in stock, because we do sell them, when we're back in stock, we must use them because they're so easy to use. Particularly when you're doing the really thin straps.
Yeah. So there's the second one.
So if you've got a little child, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Yeah.
if you're going to wear it with leggings,
Yes.
you could just do that and not do the bottom tier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, equally you could add a 4th one and make it into a maxi. Might not have enough fabric for this. You might have to use a different, but you could use a contrast. You could use a contrast.
Different. You could use different fabrics for each
frill,
tier,
couldn't you?
Yeah,
That would be nice.
You could.
Yes, you could have the bodice could be in one print,
could.
and then the skirt bits could be in a mixture or a different print.
Yeah.
And then the
that would
hat
be
you
very
could
nice,
do-
actually, wouldn't
you
it?
could, if you were using 2 different colours, you could have the hat. So if it's made up of 6 by the looks of it, isn't it? So you could have them in alternate as well around there. Do you love playing around with fabrics?
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? When
Yes.
you're making it yourself, that's what you can do, isn't it? There's no end
That's
to
the whole
to
point,
the
isn't it?
possibilities.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the lovely thing about it, because you can make it so it's different. Nobody else is going to have.
Nobody's going to have exactly the same as
No.
you.
No, and that's the.
That's one of the
lovely
beauties
thing.
of teaching, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That when you're teaching a specific project and everybody's brought their own fabrics, it's so lovely to see the variations and how they do. And some of them, you know, you look at the fabric choices and think, oh, wouldn't have chosen that. And then when you see it finished, yeah, really looks lovely.
Yeah.
Really looks good.
So just easing that out a bit, and then hopefully get this pinned on and be able to show you what 3 tiers would look like.
So as you say, it's quite light gathering, isn't it?
Yes, it's only very light. Yeah.
And when you stitch, do you stitch with the gathered side uppermost?
Yes.
So you can see
So
that
I
the
can
gathers are
see,
going down
yeah.
properly.
Yeah, I like to be able to see.
Yeah. Otherwise, it can be quite easy to accidentally catch too much.
Yes.
Can't it?
Yeah, you know, it looks because it doesn't. Sometimes when you do it, it doesn't look like a gather. It looks like you've accidentally caught the fabric. So yeah, you can just control it more as well from if you're stitching them down from the top. Nearly there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, take your time over doing this and
make sure the gathers are even.
Evenly
make
sure your gathers are. Yeah, don't rush it.
And there it is.
There we
when
go.
it's stitched.
Like that. I can't see it exactly, but yeah. And obviously, you'd have that. The neck would be gathered in.
Yes.
You'd have your
elastic around.
And can I just show the inside of the?
Please, can you reach?
Yeah, there we go. So you've got your outer, and then you've got exactly the same in the inside. So you've got your two layers, and again, I made a binding out of the matching fabric, but obviously you can just buy a bias binding if you want to, and it just means that all those raw edges are encased in. And
again, you could do the lining in a different colour.
Yeah, well, you could make it reverse.
Yeah,
you could make it reversible. Yeah, absolutely, because actually you could make that band into a bit of a feature on the one side. So
well, it does say in the pattern to use grosgrain ribbon.
Yeah.
So you could make that a bold, contrast colour, couldn't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. But it goes together really simply. So you just you have 3. So you stitch together 3 and 3, and then you put them all together and do a big stitch down all the way round, turn it through, and exactly the same with the inner bit, and then your brim is cut on the fold. So you've got 2 of those, iron on interfacing to give it a bit of sturdy, so it's not flopping into their face, and stitch round. Put your seams together. Stitch the two pieces together. Turn it through, and then attach it to
the top.
To the top.
Yeah, and then the raw edges are covered by the binding or the ribbon or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really lovely. Thank you. Thank you ever so much for
Sorry,
doing
I didn't get to finish it. I would have liked to finish that,
it's so difficult, isn't it? It's only the shortness of time.
Yeah.
But you can see how quickly it does come together.
It does, definitely.
It does come together really quickly. But it was really lovely, and I'm just sat here sort of fascinated. And an appliqué bunny on the front would be cute for Easter, says Julie McBride.
Yes.
It is. It's a lovely idea, isn't it?
It is.
So, don't forget, thank you so much, Rebecca, for that. It's really been brilliant.
Thank you. It's lovely to meet you. 2nd of May.
2nd of May. Okay, brilliant. That's my son's birthday.
Oh.
So, we'll be back again for Yarn Lane. We're going to head over there, but do remember to check out your baskets on Sewing Street. Pop in your last thing. It is the same account, so your P&P is the same. So if you buy something from Yarn Lane in just a minute, it's exactly the same P&P. It takes you through for the whole day. And of course, you can use that same P&P for the whole day. So if you haven't yet shopped out, then please do. We've got some lovely knits, and I'm going to quickly take off my jacket and put one of the knits on so you can see. It's so gorgeous. The yarn is so gorgeous. We're going to be back with Carrie Gardner after the break. But just quickly, what we've got on to tomorrow, we have John's Essential Tools. So I think John Scott's with us tomorrow. Then we have the Beginner's Guide to Dressmaking with Clive. Then we have Lapis Leaves fabric, so lovely fabrics again. And then a Woman and Children's Lounge set with Clive. So that sounds interesting, doesn't it? So that is for tomorrow with John Scott. But in just a few moments, I will be back on Yarn Lane. So do go over to Yarn Lane, which is the Yarn Lane website is yarnlane.com. So I will see you in a few minutes. Do join me then.